Okay, so yes, we're here with the victim, the monkey punk. Ugh, this has always been my least favorite part of the job. I'd rather not redo my examination if I can help it. As reflected in my notes, the victim presents male, in his mid-20s, with 4 facial piercings. There's 2 impact wounds on the back of his head, and no belongings left on this person. Yes, 2 impact wounds, right? Since we were talking about guns, that would imply he may have been shot, but it might be something else, like impact from hitting something rather than specifically from being shot. Because I would have thought if he was shot in the head, there would have been a lot more blood than what we're seeing. He's flat like a pancake. I mean, to be honest, we're all flat like a pancake. Poor guy, I'll figure what happened here, don't worry. We're all flat like a pancake. Look, when we spin, we just get flipped around like a pancake. It's just this universe. It's just what happens here. So I think... yeah, we filled in the first page, which said that, yes, earlier tonight, the old-timer argued in the fine art exhibit with the punk, who surprisingly had a gun. They fought in the courtyard and eventually the punk fell from the natural history balcony. Amidst the chaos, someone stole the gemstone from the natural history exhibit. Led by the curator, the museum staff also included the lawyer guard and the knowledgeable guide. Suspects and witnesses included the eccentric podcaster, the bitter old-timer, as well as the distinguished critic. Every time I see this word, I'm like, disgusting? They also included the anxious student, the jolly tourist, and the reserved artists. Did he die from head impacts or fall, or the steamroller that came through afterwards? Hard to say. Yeah, never know. Yeah, everyone got flattened somehow. It's like Fez universe. And then we've got some items, but we've already looked at them. So why is it saying I've got new items? Because yeah, I've examined this and I found a bullet in the statue piece, right? So the gun, when it fired, it must have hit the statue. We found the gun, which was in the fountain. Yes, it says it was accidentally misfired and then dropped in the fountain. And then this is the personal belongings of the punk. So he had the receipt for admission, a business card, and a bottle of medication. The receipt said specifically that he paid for 2 tickets even though he came alone, and then the student came in after him and got free entry, which the student was confused about, but we don't even know what the meaning of that is. And this is just our like recap, you know, what should you do? I think last time I missed one of the rooms because I eventually figured out that there is this menu here where we actually have the map. And I think I didn't see the gallery above the sculpture exhibit. So if we go back upstairs, we can get the missing room. I think we have to go to the exit first, and then we can go upstairs. Yeah, we do have a map. I just, last time, like, I think at the start the curator said the map is in the brochure, and then I was like, how do I open that? It's not in my inventory. But yeah, it's literally in the pause menu when we try to exit the game. Okay, so this is the remaining thing. Oh, wait. Isn't this a thing like that actually exists in the UK, in the north? Like the Angel of the North or something, the statue? Fairy of the Wall by Anthony Goatley. I could have sworn I've seen photos of this one before and it seemed much larger. Yes, they're like actually huge in real life. And here we have some pictures or some letters. Trueart. True art, it says. Society by Anonymous. The moose is anonymous. True art is dead. Seems like an overly cryptic message, and simultaneously too on the nose. Yeah, they have this, like, I know it because it's in the UK, so you see it a bunch on, like, pictures and whatever. I don't think I've actually seen it in person, but yes, it's Angel of the North. And then another big statue that I know is here is the Kelpies, which is relevant to the other game I'm playing, Letter Lost. Would you like to take control of your past or change the channel of your future? Control the past, change the future. 20 meters tall, huge thing. Yes, it's big. It's control the past. Oh, it just shuffles the screen on the television exhibits around. They almost had me there. Yes, it's the nostalgia TV down there. Last time I was trying to figure out what some of them were. Kelpies are murdering mermaid wife. Yeah. Ah, that's the rest of this. So true art is dead is the whole message in the paintings. Like, okay, we can try to change the future as well. Change our future. Okay, it just shuffles the screen on the television exhibits around. Okay, so both options do the same thing, so we just get to change the TV. And then there's this thing, which again, I'm pretty sure there is a giant version of this, like in America somewhere. Chicago, maybe? Maybe not. The bean from Chicago, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking about. The legume by Anish Kapoodle. It's what they're calling it. The shape is so intriguing, and its surface so reflect. Wait, is that something in my teeth? Why didn't anyone tell me? Like, weirdly, because I've never been to the US, so like the reason I know about its existence, I think, is because it's at the end of the movie Source Code, and I cannot believe this is the second time I brought up Source Code on this channel. People are gonna think I'm obsessed with this movie or something. I only watched it once, I swear. What is a legume? It's like beans and like that kind of group of foods. But yes, that they just like, yeah, they're just doing a play on. It's actually like it's called bean, or people call it the bean, so they just twist on it and say it's a legume. Source Code is a good movie. I mean, it's a bit. Okay, if we're talking about Source Code, I think Source Code, it could have ended earlier than it actually did, right? It felt like they could have cut it off a bit earlier, and then they, for some reason, just wanted to add a more explained and better ending, and they just kept going, and I was like, no, that bit before was a bit better. I'm not gonna get into the detail of which bit that was, because, spoilers. It's officially called Cloudgate of... I believe, sure, it's the bean. Like, I think that's the only name I ever heard for it. It had plot holes. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's like the most put together mystery movie, but it has some interesting things where obviously I didn't use it when I started to play TR49. I immediately was like, it's Source Code thing, and that's how I figured out what was going on in there a bit. Obviously not the whole thing, I just kind of bits and bobs. Yeah, it's glimpsed, because we looked at all of this art last time, so we've gotten through most of it other than that one room. So, what we have to be doing now is obviously re-questioning people with the additional details in order to fill in the additional pages, right? That's our task now. So the next page says, as they something, the something something, the something into a something, causing the something to be something. I think this may still refer to the fight. I know it's like reading literally DD something, but we know that the punk and the old-timer, they were fighting upstairs for quite a while because there is a whole trail of it, right? They fought over there, there's like the blood marks, and then the lead here. And then they eventually go through here. And here is the balcony that the punk fell from, and there was a statue here that we then found downstairs with a bullet in it, right? So I think it's still gonna refer to what exactly happened here, like how did he end up falling off the balcony, what happened to the statue, that sort of stuff. So this may still say as they fought or something like that, right? What happened during the fight? Because they knocked into the exhibit with the statue, like it fell down, stuff like that. And then we have things with like the gun misfired, and actually the gun hit the statue as well because we found a bullet piece inside of it. So as they fought, there's someone like into a wall. Is it gonna be something like, you know, one of them pushed the other into a wall? Because we have a word for wall. So the someone pushed the someone into a wall. Causing the something to be something. It's like, yeah, one problem with doing those games on streams a week apart is like, do I remember what happened? I mean, we can review this, right? We have this. So we can check everyone's testimony. So we know it was the old-timer, right? Where the punk began to antagonize him with petty comments. He assumed that the punk would back down when met with a bit of opposition, but when he barked at him, the punk pulled out a gun. The two broke out into a scuffle that took them from the fine art gallery out on the courtyard balcony, where the other guests looked out from below. The fight continued to escalate, leading the punk to slam the old-timer into the wall. Yes, that's the bit I was thinking about. Still haven't had time to watch the VOD, so I've seen it. I mean, I should have watched my own VOD. but now I just have to reconstruct the memories. Yes, the punk slammed the old-timer into the wall, but he didn't let up. Amidst the struggle, the punk accidentally fired the gun, disorienting himself and the old-timer before dropping into the fountain below. With the punk presumably subdued, the old-timer retracted back into the fine art gallery, where he assured the critic that he was perfectly unharmed. So yes, I think we're basically describing this section here. As they fought, no, again with the controls of it being a weird thing. So the punk slammed the old-timer into the wall. That's what we're trying to say. So we want to take the punk and then the old-timer. And then some word for pushed or slammed or something. We don't have a word for that. So it might be that we still need to talk to people to basically get more words. Because that's what we struggled with last time, right? I was stuck for a long time because I haven't yet spoken to everyone. And I didn't have all the words. And now that I've done the first pass of the story, it seems like everyone has no new dialogue. So we may have to revisit them to get more details, basically. Yes, fought the punk, like push the old-timer into a wall or something, causing the something to be something. Causing the gun to be misfired, maybe? Because then the next sentence is going to be... Nope. Dropped, maybe. Causing the gun to be dropped. And when it dropped, it... It like hit the statue below and the... No. No, that doesn't make sense. I think that's wrong. Can I erase it? Yes, I can. Yeah, when it fell, it's something. Ah, not this. When it fell, it landed? Do we have landed? But no, then it's the something. Because we know that eventually it falls into the fountain, but that has to happen after it somehow shoots the statue. Yeah, it shot the statue. Because that's what happened. By why is it below? Because the statue is on the balcony and then it falls below. Soon after something into a something. The something looked on as the something accidentally hit something, which took up something when it... Yeah, it's okay. I think we may have to basically go and talk to people again. Because I sort of get which bit we're talking about in terms of the story, but I feel like we're probably missing some of the extra words we need to use. So we'll probably get them by re-questioning the people that have the little dialogue cloud on them. You have yet to acquire new attire. I do not approve. Apologies, but that's not what I'm here to discuss. About today's events. I'll give you this one for free, detective. About the old-timer. I've taken down both of your testimonies, but there's a specific detail here that doesn't line up. The old-timer claimed he came away from the brawl entirely unscathed, but that's not accurate to your remarks. Why? Huh, this might be the easiest explanation you received today. Are you familiar with fragile masculinity? We've known each other for a long time, and when I say he's improved, I mean it, but there are things that still get under his fur. Whether this helps or hinders your perception of his motives, I doubt he's even second-guessed a lie like that. You speak as if you know him quite well. Intimately, some would say. Understood. I think I have some other inquiries to make before I move on. Yeah, I think basically what was implied last time is that the critic is secretly gay, but he's from the kind of world generation where it's just not okay. He just doesn't think he can live his true life like that. And I guess what he's implying here now is that the old-timer is his partner, but they don't talk about it. And also that the old-timer is just too prideful to say that he got hurt or anything like that, right? He just said like, oh yeah, I fought him off and the little punk, he stood no chance, right? Yeah, it's just a scratch. Yes, we support Mr. Critic. You're safe with us. We're not gonna judge. Understood. I think I have some other inquiries to make before I move on. If you must, don't let me stop you. Okay, but that's everything new from him, so we don't get any new words. And then that's the old-timer, but he doesn't have a little cloud, so he's got nothing new to say, but we can resolve this inaccuracy now. So here, yes, with the punk presumably subdued, the old-timer retreated back into the fine art gallery, where he assured the critic that he was perfectly unharmed. But we know that is not true. And the testimony of the critic is that it's not true. Ah, I see. That makes sense. It's no surprise that the old-timer would want to keep up his manly image. But as we can tell from what the critic told us, even the old-timer was a little shaken following his bout with the punk. Okay, well, yes, we're not gonna embarrass them unless we have to. So, that's that discrepancy. Now, we have more people to talk to downstairs. We've got the guide. So she witnessed the fight, she witnessed some of the events, and then she, like, froze in fear, so then she doesn't know what happened. Yeah, you need to find contradiction in the testimonies and like prove what kind of resolves it. Have you put it all together yet, detective? I'm working on it. I'm hoping you might be able to answer a few more questions. About today's events, I'll try my best. And the names in this world, for now we refer to people by their professions or nicknames. Isn't like the game Clue or Cluedo, depending on your region, where it's like, you know, the someone with the something in the somewhere, or do they actually have names in that game? I don't know, because I never played it, which I know sounds weird for my obsession with crime games, but I just never have. So about the critic, you said they were asking you some personal question, but he described it as only a debate between experts. Well, I did say questions, but they were more challenges. Did it feel like perhaps he had an ulterior motive? You mentioned the possibility it could have been a distraction. Okay, so they have names, but they're callers, so they don't seem like real names. Okay. That's not quite what I had in my head. Okay, so here they only have their job titles. I don't think he's really had a goal. He was just being a curmudgeonly old man. That sounds rude, but true. Curmudgeonly. What a word. And that isn't anything new, so I guess I didn't think that too much of it. Not until, well, you know, the rest by now. Okay, so he just comes here now and then and is just being a pain. I do, yes. Thanks for clarifying that. Maybe we should clear up a few other things. Sure thing, detective. Okay, more about events. About the guard, yes. So one of the people that seems the most sus as far as the testimony is concerned is the guard. Because now he has had the most things where he said something and then we've proven that actually is a lie, right? So his story is just not adding up the most, but that just might be because they front-loaded that, and as we go on, more people are gonna have conflicting testimonies, and he just happened to have like 3 of them or something so far. I don't believe you were aware in the moment, but I figured I should tell you. He did try to help while you were in that stunned state. Unfortunately, he didn't know how to help, but he called for the curator to come and take care of you. He wished he could have done more, he said. The guard was always been the nicest. If you get a chance, tell him I appreciate it. I'll bring him an extra croissant tomorrow. Oh, okay. So she likes him. I'm sure he'll enjoy that. I've got some more details to go over, if you wouldn't mind. Sure thing, detective. Okay, but that's actually everything new with hair. And yes, we can resolve another situation with the critic. You want a croissant? I had a croissant today, so if I knew, maybe I could have shared with you. Yes, so the curator and old-timer, they approached her, and then, yes, there was a discussion. Began discussing the various pieces in the sculpture exhibit with the guide. So the guide said otherwise. I see, that makes sense. I didn't share, I know. Well, it was earlier on, it was before the stream, so you weren't here. I was just in a corner, just like, haha. Chat doesn't know I have a croissant, except I told you now, so now you know. This might not have necessarily been a lie, but it certainly speaks to the critic's sensibilities. At least his testimony seems to line up otherwise. Okay, so that's from her. Now we have the student who seems very scared, and he has a suspicious backpack. And even though we were like, we could search his backpack, you know, figure out if he's hiding anything, like any stolen museum property, they were like, oh no, I'm not gonna search your backpack. And it's just like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? I'm innocent, I swear. Every time you say that, I get a little less confident you're telling the truth. Let's get to the questioning. Additional details. Like their jacket's cute. And they look a bit like they're, I don't know, in a fire brigade or something. Just with the yellow stripes. Or like a bee. Is this a test? I've never been good at tests, detective. About admission. What about it? There's no fee or anything, right? No, in this case, someone had come in before you and paid in advance, actually. Oh, call it lucky, right? That kind of thing never happens to me. So you weren't aware of who paid for it? Nope. Didn't think anything of it, just went on my way, waiting for that date. Like I said before, yes, his story is that he came here and he got stood up on a date, right? So having some sort of blind date or something, and the person never showed. Well, it turns out the generous patron was caught in this chaotic situation, and unfortunately, it cost them their life. What? The detective! I lied, okay? I lied to you! I didn't come here for a date, and I do not know, and I do know who paid my admission. The punk. He was my friend. My best friend. So please, could you tell me what happened? He and another visitor got into an argument. Ultimately, he fell from the balcony in the natural history exhibit. It seems to have been fatal. Oh. Okay. Detective? You can ask a couple more questions if you really need to, but after that, I'd like a few minutes to myself. Museum date, how cute. Oh, never mind, yes. The date was a lie. The date was all a lie. Yes, the portrait is in this game. I mean, the mouse is actually not too bad. They look okay, but yeah, some of the other ones are like uncomfortable. Even the cat detective is just like, you know, I prefer his in-world version to his portrait versions. Of course, in the meantime, I'll continue to investigate the details of the brawl. It goes without saying, perhaps, but I'm sorry for your loss. Okay, detective, if you say so. Okay, but we don't actually have anything else to ask them. We've run out of questions for now. But that doesn't bring any things to resolve. We still have like gaps in some people's timelines because they didn't say anything and no one else has seen them. But let's see. Oh, is she bored now? She was like, I helped set up the stream, so I'm done now. Okay, and then we have the tourist. As we've determined last time, the tourist was absolutely in the mob before. So, you know, we gotta be careful with them, because he might make us go swim with the fishes. Private Eye. He's watching you. Yes, right. Let's get to the topic at hand. About today's events. You want it? You got it! About the fight. You mentioned that you had a pretty clear view as much as you could from the lower level. Could you tell me more about how that went? You betcha! But I'll tell you now. I don't know why they're fighting. Whatever it was must have been mighty serious though. They came out of the balcony swinging, and I didn't think he would have had him in him, but that old-timer would not let up. I get where he was coming from, of course, because the punk had that gun and all, and so he probably was thinking there wasn't any room to let up. He must have got a step ahead, struck him once and got a good shove in, landed the punk with his back flat against the wall. Okay, so we get struck. A new word has been added. Don't leave us, Firefly. I mean, she might be back. She may have just gone, like, for a drink or something, and she will come back. We'll see. We'll see. Considering they both got hands on the gun and it went off shortly after, it wasn't a sight I would soon forget. An interesting contradiction, it seems. I hope you don't mind, but I have a couple more questions I could address before I leave. Radio! Don't hold back! But actually, we don't have a couple more questions. He always says that. That's the automatic line, but there isn't anything. But yes, we get another contradiction. Because the old-timer said the fight continued to escalate, leading to the punk to slam the old-timer into the wall, but he didn't let up. But his testimony is different. Ah, I see. The old-timer didn't get shoved into the wall. He was the one doing the shoving. For having such pride, it's hard to believe he would willingly make himself seem weak. I wonder what he has to say about that. Well, presumably he didn't want to seem like, you know, he was actually murdering someone. So he was just like, yeah, I just defended myself. I didn't actually try to kill him, right? Don't take it like that. Okay, does that help us with this at all? So yes, here, as I thought, this is wrong then, right? Because it means it was the old-timer that shoved the punk into the wall. Yeah, old-timer. We have struck and tripped, but we don't have like shoved. But yeah, it's the other way around. At least. But then I don't know whether it's the gun to be dropped or the gun to something else or it's not the gun, but we'll see, we'll see. Off to get more words. Well, off to talk to the old-timer again then. See what he has to say about this situation. I just randomly spin as I walk. Just whee! Yes, now he has extra dialogue. Skip the pleasantries, detective. I don't have all day. I'm sure you don't. Let's get started. Yeah, get on with it. About the fight. There were witnesses that saw it go down a bit differently than you described. Would you like to revise your statement? I don't know what you're talking about. I've got nothing to hide and no reason to lie to the most pathetic authority here. Wow, wow. Sir. Pathetic, eh? At least I would admit to having taken a hit, especially in a fight where I was the only person to walk away. Ah, you're trying to say something out with it. You falsified your testimony. The punk didn't slam you into the wall. You shoved him in an attempt to disarm and disorient him. Okay, we get the shoved. Can a statue get shot? I mean, in this case, it did get shot. Like, we know this, so that's something that happened. Statues can duck. Unless they're statues of ducks? And in that moment, the only thing you did was widen the gap, and he was able to get a stronger grip on his gun. Fine, yes. I got too aggressive, but I didn't back down. I kept up the pursuit because if I didn't, he would have shot me. You know that's the truth, detective. So don't fault a washed-out pup for defending himself, even if he does have a tendency to embellish. Justice has no need for embellishment. I've made note of this, and there's other details I'd like to go over with you. How much longer is this gonna take? Yeah, get on with it, yes. About the weapon. You described in your testimony that you disarmed him after he fired it. So why did I find it in one of the courtyard fountains? Perhaps you had a reason to dispose of the evidence? You want me to come clean, detective? I'll come clean. I told you he didn't know what he was doing, and neither did I. We were fighting over it, and it was fired accidentally. The sound, the kickback, the surprise of it all disoriented us both. He hobbled off backwards, like I told you, but I was a bit winded as well. That's when the critic found me. I was in a rough shape that I let on before, detective. But everything else is true. For all it's worth, I'm glad you could walk away, and that you're safe. However, if you ever provide a witness testimony again, please consider presenting only the truth. Luckily for you, it's time for me to focus on my notes. Although I should check there's nothing else to address before I go. How much longer is that gonna take? Okay, so yes, we got the truth out of him. Quack, quack. Everyone's a duck. And now we've added the murdered guest. Or we've completed the murdered guest. Like, this is supposedly the whole of this board. So yes, I guess we get a bit of a recap here. Yes, having entered alone by intending to meet up with the students, the victim paid the admission fee for 2. Not sure what they were up to, but they made quite a mess. Yeah, so then the punk started the argument with the old-timer. They went from the gallery, the balcony, and yeah, the punk had a gun. Someone's dropping something in the corridor. The old-timer took the offensive, attempted to disarm it. Ultimately, the gun was accidentally fired, but not at either brawler. Instead, the bullet struck a stone statue. Although the gun was dropped into the fountain below, the old-timer didn't let up. The victim, injured and disoriented, tumbled over the balcony edge. Yes, so it does a little recap for us here. So we should be able to, like, do this. It's just the words, right? So, as they fought, the old-timer, like, shoved. Now we have shoved. Shoved the punk into a wall, causing the... Yeah, I think this is wrong here. Causing, like, the punk to be disarmed, disoriented, or something. Do we have that? To be... Yeah, maybe the gun to be shot, actually, because I was thinking, oh, maybe he got disoriented or something, but maybe not. Maybe the gun to be fired. So if we put the gun... Because it's not that it dropped yet. Causing the gun to be... shot? Shot works. No. Causing the punk to be hacked. The twist is the punk is a robot. Causing the gun. No, the punk didn't get shot. No one got shot by the gun. They were quite explicit by that. Hello, Firefly. Are you back? You wanna come back here? So everyone can see you? Scratchy scratchies. Scratchy scratchies. What do you want? You wanna go on my lap? You wanna be in the way? You wanna mess with the microphone? Is that your ultimate goal always? Mess with the microphone. Come up here. You get nice comfortable. Sit here. Everyone can see you. Okay. I must pet her, or she will not sit. You good? No. She's like, no, I'm Why is Firefly so fluffy? I mean, yes, it's a question I ask myself. Why are you so fluffy and there's always hair everywhere? So much hair. Yeah, she pretty and she knows it. Could you not destroy the microphone? That would be much appreciated. Okay, are you going over there? You're going behind the monitors now. She just can't decide. She just can't decide what she wants. She's like, over here, over there, under the microphone, over the side. You know, wave her tail at you all. Behind the microphone again. Or behind the monitors again. What else we can do? Causing the statue to be shot. We've got statue. Okay, yes. So it doesn't go over the gun, drops, misfires, hits the statue. It just goes straight into the statue to be shot. When it fell, so we're talking about the statue falling. Well, yeah, I think it's like, obviously it crashed onto the display in that other area, right? Because it basically falls here and falls onto this. It like destroyed something. We have destroyed. Like it destroyed the display or exhibit or something. Alarm, artifact, object, door, gemstone, glass case below, and then the alarm activated. And then activated the alarm. But we don't have like activated the alarm, or we don't have activated. Or trip the alarm, I guess that's a word you can use for alarm. Yeah, there we go. Soon after the something. Okay. I think that's about the podcaster here, because the podcaster says she rushed into the natural history exhibit where one of the brawling patrons seemingly fell from the balcony above and the diamond was already missing. Right? That's what she says happened. She discovered that it was the punk that had fallen. It only took her a moment to search his pockets and steal his belongings. It was then that the guard arrived, to whom she explained the situation before he diverted back to the foyer to call the authorities. So, is that about hair? Soon after the podcaster entered the exhibit? No, not tripped. The podcaster. Yeah, there are not a lot of hint words. Like, you have to basically just be like, where are we in the story now? And figure out what you're supposed to be talking about. Argued, destroyed, forgot, fought, hacked, hid, locked, retreated, shot, shoved. We don't have like entered or arrived. Exhibit. From the courtyard. She came from the courtyard. You think... I think... Because you think Fag not the podcaster, but I think we're at the bit where she... enters or... I mean, it could be that the punk fell into the exhibit as well. Because what's next? Then the something looked on as the something accidentally something is something, which took us something when it does something. Then the something it's something. Like, what is the sentence? By this time, someone had something into the something, but the something was already something, so he in the something something. Okay. Could be about the gun falling into the fountain. I mean, did it fall or was it placed, right? Because it just felt like... I think there was a conversation about like randomly dropping into that small fountain would be weird, but... Could it be soon after like the punk fell into here, right? The punk... Oh, they put the gun... They dropped the gun into the fountain specifically? The punk dropped the gun from the balcony into a fountain? Okay, maybe I was ahead in the story. I was already thinking about what happened after they fell. Soon after the punk dropped the gun. But that's a bit weird. The gun was in a fountain because the ammo casing was in the shrub. That's what. So he dropped it from the balcony into a fountain. But that's interesting because that means he had a time. So after the fight ended, he had the time to drop the gun into the fountain and then somehow got shoved off the balcony, right? Like the trace of where they're going back and forth. Why was the gun empty? He had fired one bullet, but then what happened to the other bullets? Maybe they just loaded one bullet. They were like, I'm gonna do it in one. I don't know about guns. Could you just load one bullet into the magazine and be done with it? Into a fountain. Do I have the fountain? I guess it's a location, not an object. He could only afford one bullet. Okay, that works. The someone looked on as the someone accidentally something his something, which took a something when it something to something? Bullets are very expensive. I wouldn't know. Okay, well, we can talk about to the podcaster some more. Hey there, detective. I have some questions for you. If it was a revolver, perhaps I like playing stupid dangerous games. It was not a revolver, though. I know what you're referring to, but it's clearly like a handgun because we have it. I have some questions for you, and please keep all of this between us. Additional details, only if you subscribe. Ha! Just kidding. Oh, yes. This person, the absolute, like... Oh, yeah. I'm the content creator, podcaster. You have to subscribe and smash that like button. About the camera, yes. So they were saying before they got here to see the punk on the floor, they were with the tourist in the courtyard and they got to look at the tourist's camera, and it was sort of suspicious, as if like they could have hid something in the film compartment or removed something, like removed the film or something, because they like did something with it. You mean the tourist camera? Oh, that thing was like so nice. I wish I could afford one, but they were so vogue right now. Yes, that one. You mentioned looking over it. Did you notice if it had any film? Oh, it must have. Didn't I tell you what happened when I dropped it before? Neither of you mentioned dropping the camera. No. Oops, silly me. Well, you like remember the gunshot, right? Blammo and all that. That didn't bother me at all, I guess. But then, with the glass shattering, the alarm went off. That's what got me. The noise made me jump, and whoop! That was when the camera just dropped right out of my little hands. And then it hit the floor. There was a big flash, so it probably took some sort of photo. Okay, we're getting a bunch of words here. Of course, I got it back to him all in one piece. And before he even noticed, everything afterwards were pretty smooth, the same as I told you before. That's certainly an interesting wrinkle. I may have a few other inquiries to make before I continue investigating this. Yes, yeah, if the camera took a picture, then it should be on the film, but now I'm like, again, kind of trying to recall that conversation when we were talking about it and there was something about the film being missing or something, or not being there. So, I'm gonna have to look into this. Like, whatever you need, detective. Okay, nothing more to talk about. Let's, was there something about the film being missing? Yeah, dropped his camera. Guard came running. Yeah, it was empty spot instead of film. Is there more to talk about it then? That's not where he is. Can we... I assume we can question him about it too. No, there's nothing more. Okay, but this means... Like, the tourist looked on as the podcaster accidentally dropped his camera, which took a picture when it like, fell on the ground. Because this seems to fit really good. Totally random thought, but you could hide a bullet in the camera. And maybe the punk just carried an empty gun. Then someone loaded it, which involved a massive conspiracy. I mean, what I was thinking is that I don't know the size of that gem that's gone missing, but maybe it's small enough to fit in a camera or something like that. You know, maybe they hid it there and then the tourist doesn't know about it and they carry it away and then they, like, you know, jump the tourist in a back alley and steal it back. Seems like a weird plan, but who do I know? What do I know? Everyone is guilty. This is a massive art heist conspiracy. Yeah, I mean, it does feel like there's definitely people working together, right? It's weird, kind of like, yes, the punk dies, but at the same time, a gem gets stolen, right? And it feels like the two are related. Like, it would be weird where someone goes, oh, I guess this guy died and the case is broken, so while I'm just here in this museum, let me steal a gem? Right? Because it's just there, might as well. So when the tourist... Like, this game so needs drag and drop. Looked on as the podcaster accidentally dropped his camera. Do we not have camera as a word? How can we not have it as a word? We need it. We may need to do more conversations. Which took a photo, which we also don't have. Okay. But then when it's like hit the ground or something, or struck the ground. Hit the ground. Is ground an object or a location? Crystal, no, not the spicy chip powder in your eye. Ouch. I mean, you didn't miss much. I'm just trying to fill this situation with, like, the podcaster was playing with the tourist's camera and they dropped it and it took a picture, but then, as far as we know, the film is missing. And we're also missing words. Yeah, I mean, as much as you may enjoy spicy chips, I don't think spicy chips in your eye are a good thing. Oh, we have floor in locations. I'm like, is floor a location or is it an object? Okay, but we don't have camera and we don't have a picture, as far as I can see. The something or the person, then something, like they removed the film, maybe here, right? Because if the film is missing, like it could have been there while they took the picture and then they removed the film because they were like, actually, I don't want anyone to see this picture that I took, or they removed the film because they wanted to use the film compartment to hide something. Yeah, like the podcaster could have also stolen the film, but we don't have film either. So more conversation. By this time, someone had like gone into the something, but the something was already something, so something in the something. This might be to do with like some of the people were trying to leave the museum, right? They've gone to the entrance and were trying to leave, but because the alarm's been tripped, the door went into lockdown. Okay, so more conversations, and actually he has a conversation now. Private Eye, he's watching you. Yes, right, let's go into the topic at hand. Let's dance. About your camera. We've been over that already, haven't we, detective? They ain't much to say. They ain't much more to say. Well, there's one particular detail I think we should go over again. You weren't using the camera at all tonight, correct? Of course. The curator would have had my head if I was. There ain't even any film in here. Then how come, according to the podcaster, the camera flash went off when she dropped it? Isn't that unrelated? Right? I mean, it's been a while since I used a film camera, but I'm pretty sure, at least in the one I've used, you could set off the picture, right? You could have the picture button pressed and the flash would go off, even if there was no film. But that may vary per model. You should take a beginner's photography course. Just because the flash goes off doesn't mean it actually took a photo detector. Oh, okay. Okay, he says that, yes, it can take a flash even if it's empty. But if you're so confident in your theory, then how about you check it out yourself? You can take my camera as evidence as long as I get it back. It's empty, you will see, but full of sentimental value. I'll make a note to return it once the case is closed. Unless, of course, I discover something incriminating. And that should tell you just how much I trust you to do the right thing, detective. Here you go. Yes, we finally got the camera award. I appreciate your cooperation. Now, could I get your input on some other topics? Righty-o! But I assume, yes, there is nothing. Okay, we've got the camera in our evidence locker. We can inspect. So now into the little game of finding where the inspection is, but yes, the film slot should be like on the side or on the back. Unfortunately, the inspection thing, it's also like you basically have to just spin it until the little eye appears. Yeah, I presume the film is on this side because that's where the little spinny thing is that you would use to advance the film. Yeah, it's not even pixel hunting as much because you don't get to see it. You just have to find the right rotation and then it pops in when you press A. Okay, so there is no film. Oh, of course. I knew there was something else here. Or rather, that there isn't something here. Some days that can just be as important. If I had to bet, this is probably another case of someone's sticky paws. Okay, so we think... The detective thinks that someone took the film even though the tourist is like, there wasn't any film in it in the first place, right? So, for the podcaster we're getting, after it clattered to the ground, she recovered the camera and returned it to the tourist thankfully, and it was completely intact. Are we going to say that she took the film? Hello, Vlee. I hope that's okay for the name. Or Vlees. Yeah, we're dealing with the heat. I just have a fan under my desk to help with that. So yeah, is the camera the evidence we need to say that the podcaster maybe stole the film? Because we know she's got sticky paws, right? We know she stole from the victim. Yeah, I mean, yes, good thinking that yes, she would totally want it for the podcast, the film, right? Like the picture of the fight. But also we know she steals. She does that. That makes sense, yes. She returned the camera, but not without a case of sticky paws. In an attempt to get more promotional material for her podcast and swipe the film while the tourist was distracted. But then that means, why is he lying about there not being any film, right? What does he stand to gain from it? Like, just say, oh yeah, there should be film. Why isn't there film? Okay, so she stole the film. I assume we can confront her about it. And yes, we have the word for camera, but I'm not sure we got the word for film. Maybe she will say the word and then we get it. Okay, so it's gonna be, she dropped his camera, which took a photo, which we don't have a word for. And the podcaster then removed the film, which again, words we do not have. Yeah, well, I mean, he just said that it didn't have film because the curator wouldn't let him take pictures, right? But it's like, it seems in the face of like being suspected of murder and robbery, you would admit to like bringing a camera with film to a museum, right? Like that seems like such a minor crime. That's why I lie about it. But yes, okay, let's see if she's got some words for us. Hey there, detective. I have some questions for you, and please keep all of this between us. Additional details. Only if you subscribe. Ha, just kidding. About the camera. How familiar are you really with the process of film photography? Not too much, but you can learn anything on YouTube these days. Oh. You'd think I'd upper boost my follower count if I did? Is that why you are so interested in a tourist camera? Well, I've got it right here, but with some bad news. It's empty after all. No film to be found. But he told you it was empty, right? You said that, right? So no surprises there? Okay, you're sounding suspicious. Of course, after all, photography isn't usually allowed in a place like this. Ha, duh. You're super right. What a shame. Cold trail. Always. Anyways, totally moving on. Would he have film in his pocket after taking it out of the camera? Otherwise, why bring an empty camera in the first place? So having film at all seems plausible. Yes, but he doesn't have it at all. Like, he doesn't even say, here's the film in my pocket or anything. And she's sounding so suspicious. No, humor me for a moment. Let's say he did have film in it and he was taking photos he shouldn't have been. Someone taking off his guilty conscience would be quite fortuitous. Fortuitous, wouldn't you say? Okay, maybe he was like casing the joint. But then while he was casing the joint, an actual robbery happened. So he's like, oh yeah, totally, I wasn't taking any pictures. Yeah, you take the film. Good thing it got stolen. No one's gonna see the pictures. Fine, I have it. You can take the film. You're killing me, detective. Just know, I only took it to make some promotional material for my podcast. You gotta always be on that grind. I would have been perfect. I would say I understand, but the bottom line is I have a case that needs solving. So we should move on to some other inquiries, and then I'll go continue that investigation. Like, whatever you need, detective. Okay, yes, so we got that, and we've got the film. Now, to find a way to actually develop it and see what secrets are still being revealed. How are we gonna develop a film in this museum? Well, we can put that because we got the word, right? So the podcaster then like stole the film or remove the film. Quick to the dark room, yes. They just have that everywhere. Fell for God, fought, hacked it. Like, we don't have removed... Oh no, we have stole. Then stole its film? Okay, I guess it's part of this paragraph, so we don't get a confirmation. Okay, so we need picture as a word, because otherwise we can't finish this. More talking. More questioning. More words need to be achieved. Okay, the curator has more to say. Ah, detective. I trust the investigation is going well. Of course. I have several things to discuss if we could. Okay, more about the events. Go on then. Before. Yes. About the suspects. I've met them all and started to establish profiles on each. There's someone at the heart of this, and I'll find out who. Yes. Congratulations, detective. I have the utmost faith in your sleuthing skills, so please continue to work diligently. You feel like it's possible museum would have a dark room? I mean, possibly. But this is a fairly small museum, and I know it's kind of broad range of art they have, so but I'm not sure like they have the room. Hypothetically speaking, we could take the subway to Mount Holly and borrow their dark. Sure. I'll be on my way. It's getting late, don't you think? Injustice doesn't sleep, I'm afraid. It takes time to shine the light on truth. Fine. Do what you must. Take as much time as you need, but remember, the very fate of this museum hinges on your ability to resolve this efficiently. I mean, yes, they could have rooms with that are like dark rooms for the light, but would they? We still would need all of the chemicals needed for photography development, right? So that's like another layer, unless, you know, we can find that in the janitor's closet. I think you mean effectively, curator. Either way, we should move on to another topic. I would expect nothing less. Okay. More before... about the camera. What camera? I was discussing tonight's events with the tourist, and the topic of his camera arose. Did you not notice he had it on him when he arrived? I absolutely did not. Ooh, interesting, because the tourist said that he specifically spoke to the curator about the camera, right? That he said like, oh, I won't take any pictures. I'm sure you understand, detective, that recording of any kind within the museum is strictly against policy. Why would guests come visit if they can observe a rudimentary facsimile someplace else? I mean, plenty museums have all of their collection, like, you know, cataloged online. It's people still go to look at it because it's a different experience to look at it in person. I had a hunch that's what you would say, but it might reveal some important evidence, so I'm going to entertain the prospect for now. Fine, I suppose that it is a minor concern at the moment. I agree. Let's discuss more important concerns then. But expect nothing less. Okay, more before about the critic. You said you had a request. You had requested an art. Whoa! He said you had requested an article be written. Could you tell me more about that? Detective, I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so now we're saying the critic isn't also here for the reason he stated. Because he was like, oh yeah, he begged me to come here to, you know, raise the profile of the museum. Yes, it's very much not the same thing, like just looking at the picture of the picture and actually looking at the real thing. Is that so? He said this wasn't the first time. In fact, he said the first one did quite well. I'm sure he did. Why don't you ask the old-timer about that? See if his memory has held up enough to recall that catastrophe. Okay, something's gone down. Let's discuss belly rubs. My apologies if that struck a nerve, but for now I have other topics we should get to. I would expect nothing less. Okay. What else? Okay, something during the events. About the guide. You described her as stunned, until eventually your efforts to rouse her were successful, and she told you to call the authorities. But she described the situation differently, that you failed to calm her and left her there unmoving in order to call the police. She said that. Did she? If you recall, I also described her as selfless and to a fault. I'll have you know, she's like $1 to me. I regret to say that she lied to you, detective, to save my feathers. For a curator to not prioritize the safety of their guests or even their exhibits, I believe she intended to maintain my proper image. A noble act, and certainly loyal. But it was still a lie. I'll have to reconvene on that. But for now, we have other matters to discuss. I would expect nothing less. Okay, so that's everything. Okay, so there was a bunch of things. Yes, something to resolve with the guide. Yes, unsuccessful in doing so, the curator left the guide prioritizing the museum and wanted to call the authorities from the foyer. But actually, the curator says that they wanted to help the guide more than they were trying to protect the museum. I see, that makes sense. Everyone in the museum is like, how many lies can we sell the investigator? Yes. I mean, I sort of get it, right? I sort of get it in the sense of like, when there is a situation, when there is like something chaotic, traumatic happening, it's hard for people to sometimes fully see the picture and prioritize things, right? People are too kind of wrapped up in their minds where they're like, oh, you know, I'm gonna lie about this super minor thing, even though literally we're in the middle of a murder investigation. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, that minor thing you're trying to hide is absolutely not important. Just go out and say it. At this point, no one cares anymore about like a minor infraction. But they're like, oh no, I did a bad, so I can't let people know that I did that. I mean, I'm not saying I would be any better. I've never found myself in the middle of such a situation. So maybe I would also freak out and be like, oh no, I'm gonna tell a bunch of lies because people are gonna think I did something. That makes sense. While the curator did leave to call the authorities, it wasn't before successfully rousing the guide from her stun. Was she intentionally trying to throw me, or was she just trying to maintain the curator's reputation? Okay, so that's some extras here resolved, but I don't think that gave us any new words, so we still gotta question people to get more words. Have you put it all together yet, detective? I'm working on it and hoping you might be able to answer a few more questions. Yes, about the curator. According to your testimony, they helped you up to a point and then prioritized calling the police. Unfortunately, they didn't corroborate that. Are you giving me a chance to revise my statement, detective? Okay, yeah, the curator would never have prioritized the museum over us, at least not as far as I've known him. They did help me recover more than I let on before, and it was my idea to call the authorities. The curator theorized that you are attempting to protect their reputation. Is that the case? I suppose it was. I know they all come across as a bit prickly, detective, but they do mean well. And they do whatever it takes to support us. I just wish there was a way we could do the same for them. That does seem to be a bit of a trend, but there are other topics we should also get to. I don't think there are. I think, yes, we've got everything. But, I mean, at least they paint a picture of, like, the curator being a really nice boss to them, right? Both the guard and the guide are like, oh yes, he's so good to us. He's done so much for us. Private Eye, he's watching ya. Yep, to the topic. About this film. Where'd you find that, detective? Funny coincidence, right? Considering I've got your camera in evidence and all, you know, the one that you assured me didn't have any film in it. And surely this film wouldn't fit in. Oh, wow, would you look at that? It fits. I mean, those things are fairly standard, so I'm not sure how much proof that is. Although I guess some different cameras may have different manufacturers, but at least as, again, my old memory of film cameras is they seem to all be fairly universal at the time. Yeah, it fits just right. Huh. Like you said, it's just a silly coincidence. If I have to spell it out any further, I might have grounds to charge for contempt. Is that what you're going for? You're a police officer. Detective. I'm pretty sure contempt is of court. At best, what you have is obstructing an investigation. Should we be antagonizing the mob pig? Well, depends what mob he's in, because, you know, if it's not local, then maybe we're good. Alright, you got me. Not only do I have film in my camera, I may have taken a few photos. I didn't think it would be that important. I was just trying to save my hide if word got back to the curator. You understand that, right? Obstructing the truth for personal gain? I can't say I do, although it's not the first time I witnessed it. I mean, all's well that ends well, at least. If it helps solve this case, I'm relieved you found it. It could turn out to be incredibly important, yes. Let's move on to more questioning, shall we? Rightio! Don't hold back. Okay, no more questions. Yes, well, their photos are off. I mean, could be of the art. They said the security system was like super hidden, right? It was like very discreet and you can't see it and you can't really do anything with it, right? It's just like a extremely sophisticated technology that they can't even explain how it works. It just does, and it just knows everything. And it knows when to do the lockdown, and it knows when to do the like raise the alarm and everything. So no photos. I mean, we didn't get the word from Wenyan yet, so someone has to say it in like green. Does the artist have anything to say? No. But they said talk to the old timer about the other article. Yeah, so the curator and the old timer both have things. Skip the pleasantries, detective. I don't have all day. I'm sure you don't. Okay, details. Does it make me any younger, detective? About this article. Do you know if the curator requested the critic come write it today? Huh? No, absolutely not. I'm sure he, sorry. They wouldn't even ask the critic to do that again. The tourist mentioned photos. No, yes, they did, but unless it's like in the green text, it doesn't go into our word selection. Am I making the cat spin or does he randomly spin? I'm making him spin, but not like on purpose. It just seems to take like change in direction on the gamepad as spinning. The curator alluded to a previous article. What happened with that? I'll keep the story short since it isn't mine to tell, but between you and I, it wasn't pretty. It was harsh, but perfectly fair. I've heard murmurs it put the museum in a rough spot, but that wasn't our concern. Despite tonight's commotion, the museum seems fine to me. Let's move on for now. Yeah, how much longer is it gonna take? Well, I don't have anything more for you. Okay, but now we have the critics said they came to write an article because the curator asked them, but that's not true. And that's what the old-timer says. I see, that makes sense. He might have been hoping to write an article about the museum, but that's 2 testimonies against his claim. But why lie about that at all? Perhaps I should pay him another visit and ask, yes. Why are you lying about writing an article? And especially why are you lying that you've been asked to do it? Yes, he doesn't like our outfit, and he does not approve of our outfit. I see Firefly has left her spot again. Yeah, that's not what I'm here to discuss. Okay, about the guide. Were you aware that the discussion you shared earlier was taken quite differently by her? Whatever could you mean, detective? It was simply a forum for 2 intellectuals. Perhaps one person's forum is another's arena, especially when such debate is uninvited. Have you considered that? I can assure you that it was not my intention to debate her. Surely she's been through more treacherous challenges than I could provide. I'm not in position to make claims one way or another, but I found the disparity in your testimonies important enough to clarify. And worth noting, if your honest response to criticism is defensive, then I suggest you reflect on why that is. How astute and utterly absurd a sentiment. That's my job. Now, I have more inquiries to make before I continue my investigation. Yes, because he was just like, oh yeah, me and the guy, we were just discussing things, but she was like, no, he was actually like questioning my credentials here and all that sort of stuff, and accusing the museums of having forgeries in it and all that sort of stuff. So he seemed like quite aggressive about the situation. Okay, about the article. Oh yes, did you want to read it? I have an early draft if you like. That's interesting, considering the curator was entirely unaware of that request you mentioned. They must have been playing coy with you. Or maybe they're just embarrassed that they need my help to keep their museum afloat. But I guess you will understand, standing on the outside, desperately trying to look in. Okay, we get the word from the outside, but that's not what we're looking for. You're trying to change the topic. Did the curator ask you to write the article or not? No, they didn't. They didn't have to. I received an anonymous tip, and I decided to be generous. Oh, fine. It's my turn to change the topic then. If you must. Don't let me stop you, okay. But we have nothing more. Okay, so someone like lured the curator here, or not the curator, lured the critic here to have them be here, writing an article with the old-timer as well, because they wanted them to be here? Why? Why was that the case? Okay, so we've met all the suspects, so that's why that thing is new. And we got a new word, but it's still not the photo word. And yes, I think this is this bottom text here. There was stuff about the student and someone else and the tourist trying to leave the museum. Here. Yeah, here the gunshot causing him to hesitate at the sound. It was then that the alarm was triggered, locking the door just moments before he could escape. Cornered, fearful, and sensing a greater possible threat, the student retreated into the sculpture exhibit. Now in the sculpture exhibit, the student attempted to hide as he heard the terrible sound of shattering glass. Yeah, so he decided to move quickly towards the foyer and leave. So the film, it's in my evidence locker, but I can't inspect it. Like, there's nothing to do. It says now I have to find a way to actually develop it and see what secrets are still to be revealed. So we have to find somewhere we could do it, so find someone who can do it for us. Maybe we can discuss a photography studio nearby. When we started, I think the cop that drove us here, he said something like we could get him to help us or something. I assume they meant hints, but maybe they meant things like that, requests for processing evidence. So maybe we can do that. I have to remember how. But yes, is that last paragraph about the student trying to leave? Right, by that time... Is there a dark room on the map? No. There is courtyard, foyer, fine art, sculpture, antiquities, natural history. That's it. There isn't any sort of dark room. There isn't even like a staff area or something like that that we could use. By this time, the student had something. Retreated into the foyer. Foyer. But the door was already locked. We have locked. So he just waited in the sculpture exhibit. That sculpture exhibit icon is not what I would pick as the icon. Yeah, so he's hiding in the sculpture exhibit, maybe. Maybe that's the word. Yeah, the sculpture exhibit is just like weird modern art sort of thing. Okay, let's go with hid. In the sculpture exhibit, there we go. No, Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, there's having to like tap through all of the things. Sometimes I go too far. I broke this. Yeah, he dropped the gun from the balcony. Okay, well, so everything's green other than this bit because we don't have a photo. Yes, this it's just so weird. Honestly, I have so many questions about the choices that have been made with the operation of that Feline UI. Like, why did you decide this? Now, I'm gonna go check outside to see if that cop is there. Like, is he there? We can ask him to help us to process the evidence. Yeah, I think, Gloves, you missed this last time where there is, you know, because we talked about, like, God is Mother Goose and therefore angels are also geese. Yeah, we've got a phone, so maybe that's how we do this. Yes, I guess I could give the police department a call. There's probably someone on their last shift about now. I can't forget to expense this charge, though. Payphones aren't getting any cheaper these days. Detective. Hope the case is coming along smoothly. What can I do you for? Oh, about the film, yes. I found a reel of camera film that might be important to the case. There's equipment at the station to develop it. Could you send someone to come pick this up for me? Oh, absolutely, detective. In fact, I'll just come to it myself. Okay, and then he just appears. Sorry about the wait, detective. I came as fast as I could. I think you're right, in record time, so no need to apologize at all. Here's the film. Do you know how long it will take to develop? Not sure. Somebody in the lab will take care of it, and you know how they are. Honk. Don't worry. After a while, you should have a photograph. Yay! I don't really have any way to let you know when it's done, but you can always call. Ain't no issue there. Well, I've got no shortage of threads to pull on, so I'll put this on the bottom of the list for now. Thanks again. No thanks necessary, just part of the job. Good luck. Oh, I won't need luck. Let's get back to it. Okay, so at some point, there will be the actual photograph. But for now, we get the word. I think police department is next door, yes. Maybe. We're just too lazy to walk over and be like, hey, I've got something, right? They gotta take the car. Firefly is currently just splayed on the floor. I guess she's like, it's too hot on my shelf. I must be on the ground where it's cooler. Yes, he's just waiting off screen. Aha, I knew I was onto something. This case is continuing to clear up, but it feels like there's always another thread to pull. And there's no use calling it a wrap before I know for certain what's happened. Okay, so now we unlock another page where, once again, the amount of words is just overwhelming. A something, the something, to the something on the something. It was something by the something from the something. There was an old something, a strange something, and the something accessible from the something on the something. In the something was the renowned something, the grumpy something, and the shady something. It seems the something between the something and the something put the something into something, but nothing was something. Conversely, the something will be something by the something to learn more. Yes, hello Joran. Welcome, welcome. We're just reading some very clear sentences. Yeah, it didn't take the whole stream again, but there's still a bunch to go. Seems like something is going on. Exactly. Are you back now? Sup? Okay, more pets. More pets are required. Okay, well, I guess we go back inside. Okay, it's like it's just the beginning of solving the strange museum mystery. Because, yeah, we still don't know what happened to the gemstone. Yes, and we have to wait for the results. And, yes, that's just the general case. Okay, so who's got dialogue now, right? Because that seems to be the name of the game here. Who wants to talk to us? Is there more to inspect here? This is the pedestal where the stolen gemstone was once displayed. What should I investigate here? Okay, the broken case. I have more information about the museum security system now, so I probably should take a second pass at this. Okay, so we have to re-investigate it. I've been assuming that theft used the statue to break open the case because witnesses believe that was triggered the alarm, but we know the statue fell from up top when the punk got pushed, or he pushed it. There's no denying they heard glass shatter and the alarm blaring, but that doesn't mean it was intentional. When the statue was shot and fell, it landed into the display below. The gemstone would have been ripe for the taking. Unless it was already gone. According to the curator's knowledge on the security system, that leaves us with two possibilities. One, the thief opened the case which locked the museum doors and the alarm went off later. Or two, the thief was a registered user within the system and the doors wouldn't have been locked until the case was accidentally broken later. Unfortunately, there's no way to know which is true right now. Maybe the guard will have further insight on my theory. Okay, so it's basically saying, go to talk to the guard. Okay, we can't step on the corpse. We have to go around the corpse. Hello. I haven't spoken to you yet today. Aye, detective. What can I do you for? Let's start with a few questions, if you wouldn't mind. Yes, additional details. Standing by for inquiry, detective. Can we take the corpse away? No, apparently not. Apparently they must be laying here on display for as long as it takes us to solve the case, right? We're not gonna get the medical examiner to do anything, like examine the body or take him to the morgue or anything like that. No. He is stuck here until we're done. It's been taken back to back rooms for routine maintenance and everyone's forgotten about it. I mean, I'm not sure what to think about the competence of the staff here yet. The corpses are now. Yeah, just put a little plaque next to it and be like, you know, the moral lesson of starting fights in a museum. This is what's gonna happen to you kids. The longer we take, the worse this museum will smell. Yep. About the alarm. I looked back over the crime scene with special attention to the pedestal of the stolen gemstone. And I have a theory I'd like to run by you. Oh, lay it on me. I believe that when the display case was broken, the gemstone was already missing. From everything you know about the security system, would that be possible? I suppose it could be, Detective. That'd be quite the twist. The issue I'm having with my theory is how to actually prove it without more clearly defined timing. It's impossible to know for sure. Well, the security system has an interface you could access in our maintenance room, but I can't provide that kind of clearance. That's something you'd have to get the curator's approval for, since it's private business and all that. I was hoping it would come to that, but if that's what it takes, I'll give it a shot. Until then, I think I might have a few more things to discuss with you before I go. Absolutely. Do we? No, we don't. We actually don't. You know how museums usually have posters, which often come in those cardboard tubes? He would easily stash a corpse away in one of those. Yes, we could just roll him up, right? He's flat, so just roll him into the tube. I wonder if carnivorous animals will try eating the corpses. I mean, that's always the problem with those games where all the animals are... different kind of animals are anthropomorphic, right? How does the world work? Do they eat each other? Do they just have fake meat to eat? Do they have different animals that are the edible animals that are not the same as those animals? Detective, I trust the investigation is going well? Of course, I have several things to discuss, if we could. Actually, probably just one thing. About the back room. The guard mentioned it while we were discussing the security system. I believe access could help crack this case, if you'd allow it. Preposterous. Everything that happened tonight took place within the public space. No one had access to the maintenance room tonight. Are you hiding something? Like, why wouldn't you let me see the security for the place so I can figure out what's going on? Tonight, sure, but what if all of this was set in motion prior? What would you say then? As far as I know, and you can prove that Punk came in to drum out trouble, and some other opportunists saw fit to seize their chance. So what would I say to that, you ask? I would still say no. I hope you understand that if I find another means of access, I'll have to defy your wishes. And if I find something important there, you could be held liable for obstruction. Then so be it. Now, move along. I will, of course. And there are no other things to discuss. We have nothing else. Yes. Yes, why not let police to investigate? Okay, it doesn't look like the security guard has anything to say, so we have to figure out how to get into the room. We don't even know where it is, right? Because it's not on the map. The maintenance room. Can we just not get a warrant? I mean, we can try calling our goose police friend. Now I'm just trying to like go around the museum, see if we can, you know, get in through the back or something. No. Can't just, you know, use our cat powers to climb in through a window or something. Okay, let's see if our cop friend can help us. Yeah, payphones are expensive. No, there isn't anything here. Yeah, okay. It's only about the film, but the photo's not ready. I assume it will only come at a specific point in the story. Okay, well, that's not it. I mean, from the start of the game, I've been suspicious about how big those vents are, but so far there's not been any interaction with them. Yes, find a way into the maintenance room. But where is the maintenance room? Is there a door for it somewhere that we can see? Okay, she's got more to say. Maybe she knows where it is. about the back room. I've discussed it with the guard and believe it could be incredibly important to solving this case. Would you be able to take me there? It's staff only though. Do you already have the curator's permission? For the purpose of our conversation, let's assume... Yes, I do. Well, come to think about it, it wouldn't matter either way. And why is that? I embarrassingly misplaced my keys a week ago, so I can't actually get into the maintenance room. The curator said they were going to have a replacement made for me soon, but in the meantime, the guard lends me his as needed. Sorry, detective, not as much help on this front. Maybe you could borrow the guard's keys too? That might not be as easy as you think. Why don't we discuss something else instead? Sure thing, detective. Okay, so... But can't she at least show us where the room is? Yeah, it's very suspicious that she doesn't have her keys, right? Because that means... Did she lose them? Or did she give them to someone, right? Was she like, oh yeah, take my keys so you will be able to get into the room. Do you know where the room is? I haven't spoken to you for a while. Salutations, detective. Have you solved the case? Not quite, but I have some questions that might help. Affirmative. Yeah, do you know where the back room is? I understand this is a stretch, but wouldn't you have any idea where it is, would you? You mean the maintenance room for the museum? I can't say I do. However, I might have something that could help you find it. Really? I was mostly just preparing to vent about this investigative roadblock. What do you have? I told you earlier about how the guard bumped into me. It appears he dropped his keys in the process. You can have them if you think they would assist you. Oh, wow. Unfortunately, I can't use a key on a door I can't find, but I'm sure this will come in handy when I do. You're welcome, detective. Feel free to return them once this is all wrapped up. Of course, I have no need for them. Yes, thank you. Will do. Allow me to ask a few more questions before I go. Yes, I mean, we will discuss it later. Why did they have the keys, right? Because we know they're sorta invisible. Not in like a true sense, but their kind of thing seems to be no one notices them, no one remembers them. So it's like, did the guard drop their keys or did you acquire them through some other means, right? But we will get back to that. Okay, so we've got the keys. Yes, in our evidence locker. Bet that's the vents are access to the room, but surely not the normal access, right? Are you saying they're climbing in through the vents every time? That's a lot of keys. So we still have to figure out which key it is at all. It's doing the vibraty thing here. Okay. Is this one? Oh, it has the angel statue on it. Oh, of course. I knew there was something else here. The symbol. It looks like a figure with outstretched arms. Have I seen this somewhere around here before? If I can find it again, that's probably where this key is meant to be used. You know, this is already an absolute mess, but the lack of labeling makes it even worse. There are so many keys though, maybe the people who visit the room are very short. I mean, the security guard goes there and he's a bear. So, but no, it's where the Angel of the North statue is. Which is over the sculpture gallery. So over here. Yes, can we somehow open this? The plaque reads Fairy by the Wall by Anthony Goldley. This fairy looks a bit familiar, like the symbol on that labeled key I found. I hate to rearrange the curator's exhibits without permission, but I think that's probably the least of their concerns right about now. Wow, a keyhole hidden behind the artwork, and it's opened a secret doorway. No, that never gets old. Okay, but we just like left it on the floor, you know. The builder's attempt to conceal the room is a true art, yeah. But, okay, not very respectful of us, but sure. Yes, do they do that every time and just take it off the wall? Like, that's not very convenient. Yes, it led us right into the museum's back room. I see a computer there on the desk. That's probably my best bet to get a hold of the security system's data. I'm sure there's plenty of other things to investigate as well, so let's get to it. There's lots of things to see. This seems like a pretty sturdy box of tools and very well stocked for a museum. They're all in pretty fine shape too, considering the layer of dust on most of them. Oh, this is a good looking screwdriver. Never know when you'll need one of these. Well, if there were only some vents that I could really want to unscrew. Do I get a screwdriver now? Yes, I do. Okay, nothing to inspect here, but we have a screwdriver. It's modern art, clearly it's supposed to be on the floor. It represents the fragility of dreams and how contact with reality leaves them in a pile on the ground. Very moving. Yes. Yep, time for some vents. I mean, after we do this room. This case has proven complex enough that I can't afford to miss any details. Besides, this bookshelf is organized far better than the one in my office, and it's much easier to find anything intriguing. Like this, a file forward marked classified. I could never overlook that. I suppose it's not unusual for a museum to keep sensitive documents, but these are redacted so excessively, even for a contract. Except one phone number? Weird. I wonder who's on the other end. I should give it a call. Okay, well, we will have someone else to call other than the police station. Someone hung a few drawings on the wall here. Rainbows, dinosaurs, and rocket ships are all standard fare for a child with crayons. Looked like the museum had an avian family there, too. Not much to go on here, but cute nonetheless. Okay, I need to turn the camera to see. Ah, there we go. Dinosaur! Yes, some sort of bird family, which, I mean, the curator, of course, is a type of bird. So, does he have a child? Even though I think he said, like, he was very evasive when we asked him about his family. He didn't want to talk about it, so, you know. Did his wife left him and he needs money for his child custody case? So now he's stealing from his own museum or something. There's an old photograph hanging here. It's a bit faded. 6 people standing together, posed for some sort of occasion. There's a curator, the guide, and the guard. But I don't recognize the other 3. It might turn out superfluous to the investigation, but I bet I can learn more. Yes. Where are those other 3 people? Who were they? And why are they no longer here? Okay, so this is the classified documents. Only the phone number is on it. Maybe they've been kidnapped. He's having to set up the theft and valuable gem to get them back. Yes. Is there a similar room on the other side? I mean, I'm not sure, but right now we don't know anything about that. 6 subjects in the photo. I have to ask around for more information. Yes, we probably can ask the people in the photo about the other people in the photo. I mean, we can check. I mean, if it's symmetrical, there are actually 4 such spots, right? Because it would be 2 spots in here, and then it would be 2 spots on the other side over the natural history. One behind that cow fertility statue, if you remember from last time. Yeah, we can't observe the photo. This feels a bit familiar, doesn't it? I hope I won't have to deal with that 2 password fiascos in one night, yes, because the tutorial was we had to find our own computer password. Nope, it's unlocked! Quite the stroke of luck. Now, let's see about the security system. Most of the data here is obscured, probably encrypted. I suppose that's how they can justify keeping it unlocked. But it's most certainly a record archive. I can make out entries for exhibit openings, doors locking, and the alarm being triggered. Unfortunately, user information isn't revealed. There's no clear indication of who or what the signals are from. Ha! Looks like there's an export data function, and it doesn't require an administrator's override. I'll have this data to the station and decrypted in no time. For such a sophisticated system, this seems pretty easy. Oh, because it's exporting to a floppy disk. Well, beggars can't be choosers. I've got what I need. Okay, we've got a floppy disk. What year is it? What year is it in this game because we have film cameras and we've got floppy disks and that kind of stuff. But we also have podcasts, right? So it can't be like very olden times. Okay, and we can't look at it, but we can call the goose cop, I assume, to look at it. Well, well, well. Time to get out of here then. And use this newfound stuff. I assume there isn't anything behind the bean, but we'll check. Excuse me. No, it's just we can just read the plaque. 3D printed save button. Yes, kids these days. Okay, so can we unscrew a vent? Nah, no we can't. Sadly. At least not this one. Maybe another vent. Maybe another vent unscrews. You remember using 3.5-inch discs? I mean, I remember floppy disks. Like, I've used floppy disk quite a bunch. Ooh, this one's interactive. I mean, if she wants old, then I'm old. I'm so very, very old. This air duct has been witness to some pivotal moments of this evening, huh? Okay, so we can't unscrew it. It's just interactive. Okay, maybe later. Maybe later when we know that something may be hidden then. But yes, let's not forget this cow fertility statue that they have here. Towers figurine discovered in Northern Europe and Asia. Am I blushing? I feel like I'm blushing. Wish they included secret rooms in all 4 locations as Easter eggs. Let us into the vents. Yep. Like, that was the first thing I thought when it was like screwdriver, and yet we're not allowed. Okay, so we've got the disc to give to the cop, and we've got more people to talk to, because I assume we're gonna ask them about the people in the picture. And we've got some more words, so we can try to fill stuff in. So yeah, that unlocked a bit of things. Who should I call? The police department. Yes. Detective, about the alarm. Officer, I had to be an inconvenience, but I've got something else to send to the lab. Officer, are you? Yes, he's already on his way, like immediately. No sense in making you wait around, so here I am. What you got there, detective? Is that a real life save icon? What? No, it's a floppy disk. The museum security system uses them for some reason, but I have no way to decrypt it. Oof, you're right. This isn't gonna fit in a USB slot or a CD drive. Honk. Ask one of the older officers about it. They will know how to hack it. After a while, I will call for an update. Sounds like a plan. I'll get these logs back to you as soon as I can. Yes, just old people jokes. Yes, I mean, anyone remembers those boxes? You know, you just had like a big long box with little dividers, so you could have all of your floppy disks nicely organized, all that stuff, right? Because yes, game would come on like 5 floppy disks or something. So you needed a bunch of them, you know, labeled disk 1 out of 5. And then you had to, you know, insert them in the order. Yes, I'm old too. Unless my luck's run dry, this could lead to another breakthrough. It keeps getting later, so here's hoping. Yeah, I mean, 5 is probably a low number as well. Yeah, it had to be organized because missing one was a disaster. Yes, it was. I mean, even more than floppy disks, I remember having things on cassette tapes, because I am so old. I had the Commodore computer console, whatever you call it. It used cassette tapes, not even floppy disks, like actual cassette tapes that you would use for listening to music and stuff. So that also feels sorta ancient. And then I, you know, also listened to music for a very long time on cassette tapes and Walkmans and stuff like that. Hi, detective. What can I do for you? Yes, can you tell me about the picture? About your keys, maybe that's first. There's keys, what about them? Wait a minute. You have your keys on you? Well, yeah. Can't you see I'm holding them right in front of you, detective? Oh, interesting. So, he dropped keys, but they weren't his keys. Are they the guide's keys? Did he take them? Oh, you are, aren't you? It doesn't look like the developers gave you that animation, but they're right there in stunning detail. The developers? Ah, don't worry about it. That's not even the strangest part. If you have your keys, then whose do I have in evidence right now? Never mind, just forget it. We should move on anyways. Absolutely. Okay, so, about this photo. I noticed the museum's current staff, but I'm not sure about the others. What can you tell me about them? Oh, wow. I never got my own copy of this photo. We took it at staff dinner. Must have been a couple years back. That older fella here, that's the mechanic. But he's sadly passed away now. I guess seeing him again kind of hit me all at once, you know. Oh, my apologies. I didn't know. It's okay, detective. I just wish you could have met him. I think you would have gotten along well. He was mighty grumpy, but he had a heart of gold. And I tell ya, he loved this museum. Huh, as much as he complained about it. Ah yeah, I know the type. I'm sorry for your loss. It's alright. Time moves on, and so do we. And hey, if there's a way I could get a copy of that photo when this is all over, I'd appreciate it. I'll see what I can do. Why don't we discuss other matters for now? Absolutely. I'm an open book and full of pictures. Okay, but he says that's the mechanic, but then, you know, there's 3 extra people on this picture, right? I remember having to rewind VHS tapes. God, that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, VHS tapes and like cassette tapes, because obviously you could rewind them in the device, but then the device would be occupied. So you could also stick them on a pencil and you could just wind them on the pencil to rewind them. You know, just as a fun thing to do when you're a bored kid in the 90s. Crystal things ancient and you're 19, yeah. I wish. I mean, maybe I don't. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, I wish I was young, but on the other hand, it's like, life is kind of nice where you've already, you know, lived through things and experienced things and established your life a bit more. Three extra people, 3 current workers, I guess 1 employees. And they each gonna let us know about 1 extra person. Just cause. We're getting more and more wards, so we may be able to fill something in soon, but I assume we have to understand more about it. Okay, so yes, one of the other pictures is the mechanic, who retired recently from the museum. I mean, retired is not the right word, right? He said he passed away. He dead. Yes, so can I ask you personal questions? Yes, let's ask about his divorce. About those drawings. Excuse me, what drawings do you mean? In the maintenance room, there was a handful hung on the wall, in crayon, I believe. A strain to understand. Why would you even need to know anything about that? Because your snooping understand no discretionary bounds? This case has proven very complex, curator. I need to understand any possible angle or motive from everyone. Well, my son isn't one of your suspects. He's quite young, and I do not see him enough anymore. Until you can look at me with a straight face and prove pinning his scribbles to the wall is a crime. Don't ask me about it again. Yes, okay. So yes, definitely we're talking divorce, right? He did want to talk about family, and then yes, hidden pictures from a kid, and then yes, there's possible motive then that he needs more money for family situation. And the ultimate retirement, yep. I guess if you're dead, you can't work anymore. Unless they, you know, invent a way to turn people into worker zombies. As you wish, I'll ask you about something else instead. Okay, yes, can I ask you about the worker picture then? I found it while investigating. I recognize you and other museum staff. But could you tell me more about the other 3 people pictured here? Unfortunately, this is another scenario where my wings are tied, detective. I am not at liberty to disclose the details of their identities. They were, in one way or another, all associated with the museum in the past, but I can't say any more than that. It's a wonder you get anything done these days with so much red tape around. Like you wouldn't believe. Do you have something else to discuss, or are you going to get back to work? Yes, more questions, so I guess someone else will have to tell us about the other pictures. Is why I left him along with their dozen eggs. Okay then. Are we making chicken jokes now? About these logs. I exported them from the museum security system. Ultimately, there is no need to disclose this, but I thought it was the right thing to do. I'm offended that you would subvert my authority. Detective, but I'm willing to look the other way on this. I understand you're just operating in the best interest of myself and the museum. So I can't fault you for that. I'm operating in the best interest of truth, which these shall facilitate. Oh yes, silly me. In the pursuit of justice and all that, how could I forget? Are you mocking me? How dare this chicken mock me? I'm a detective, and I'm a cat. I could eat you if I wanted. I don't see how you'll make use of them when they're stored on that floppy disk, but do what you must. I'll do my best, you can count on that. For now, there's more I'd like to discuss, except I don't have anything else to discuss, yes. Okay, let's ask the guide. She's helpful, right? She tells us things, rather than being annoying. Hello. Tell me things. About this old photo. I see you picture here next to the curator and the guard. Could you tell me more about the others? I can accept anything about chickens as long as it doesn't involve chicken math. Chickens always with their math. Oh yeah, for sure. That's the historian there, although after I was hired, it wasn't too long before she left. Regardless, in that short time, I looked up to her vast expertise. It was like she just knew everything about art history, about culture even, anthropology. Do you know why they decided to part ways with the museum? No, I don't. It was pretty unceremonious. In fact, I came in for my shift one day and realized it had been a couple weeks since I saw them last. Okay. I'll have to keep asking around. Until then, would you mind talking with me about some other things? Except we don't have other things. Okay, maybe the critic or the old-timer know the other people because they've been around, right? They've been around the scene. Because yeah, he's got something new to say. Yes, about this old photo. You wouldn't happen to recognize any of the people pictured here, would you? Aside from the obvious. Oh dear, now that's a face I didn't expect to see when I woke up this morning. Oh, and who's that? The gentleman there on the right side. He's an investor. One of unscrupulous morals. We've only crossed paths a couple times, and I'd consider myself lucky to never do so again. Quite a strong opinion. Well, I have other inquiries to make before I go, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, but that's just extra questions I don't have. Okay, so some sort of unscrupulous investor has entered the scene. Interesting, interesting. What does the old-timer have to say? Okay, he can also be asked about the photo. Mayhaps they're here today in disguise. Maybe the frog is one of them. Oh. I was wondering if you could tell me about this person pictured here. The historian? Sure can. She was an absolute fountain of knowledge? No one could shut down the critics' incessant debating faster. Ha. Is found the word? I've never heard that phrase. Do you know why they parted with the museum? Aside from being destined for greater heights than this? I don't know the details, but I always heard it was a budget issue. If you want my opinion, it was the best thing that could have happened to them. I wouldn't have been surprised if they volunteered. Interesting. Do you know what's happened to them since? I heard they were heading up an apartment in Weaselton, DC, at one of the national museums. I see. Unlikely to be connected to tonight's events, then. Let's see if we have any more questions for you. No more questions. Okay. Can we fill anything else? I think it's a word, but seems a bit of an old use here. Yeah, I thought it was a fountain of knowledge, but maybe I've just made it up in my mind. Maybe it's one of those things where, you know, I didn't know the word, but so I just assumed it was fountain because that sounded like the right thing. Fount is correct, similar to fountain, but heavily biased towards being a source of something, usually knowledge nowadays. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'm just like confused about which word is the right one, you know, with my English. Is this basically about the secret room then? Yes, of course John will. He's ready. He's ready with the knowledge. Yeah, it might just be me, you know. I might be with this whole, you know, I might be doing that whole thing like people, you know, say bon apple tea or whatever, where I didn't realize found was a word. So to me, it always sounded like fountain, and I haven't like seen it written before. So I've learned something today, I guess. Okay, so if this is about the secret room, as something, the something to the something on the something. The something. It was something by the something from the something. There was an old something, a strange something, and the something accessible from the something on the something. In the something, there was the renowned something, the grumpy something, and the shady something. Okay, so this is about the picture. So in the picture, or the photograph, I guess we have that word. There was a renowned historian. The grumpy mechanic, I think they said. And the shady investor. Yeah. Okay, that's solved. The left bottom is the secret room. I think so. Like, I think this whole is leading us to the secret room. There was an old... So what was there? Like, there was a computer, there was a picture, there was the drawings. Something on the something, like that could be something accessible from something on the computer. Crystal's theory may have been correct. When we reach the final section, we will write the entire text ourselves. Yes, it's possible, right? It's just gonna be an empty page and we just go like, use all your words to fill this in. It was something by the something from the something. Like, it was hidden, like the room. Are we talking about the room here being hidden or something like that? Do we have, like, secret room? Isn't this the first case? I mean, this is the only case, right? This is the only case in this game. But it has, like... So this is basically our third solve. Yeah, we have a back room. But I was thinking, like, there are double wards, so I was like, is there, like, some sort of secret ward or something? Thank God, yes. I don't think this game is that long. I think this is the whole case, so when we get to, like, page 6, we will be done. Maybe the back room goes here. So something there's something to the back room on the like the balcony of the sculpture room, like sculpture balcony. So it could be like the detective here. Are we? Yes, we're in our book, which so we could say something led the detective to the back room on the sculpture balcony. Yes, a key. Like, because we got it from the fact that the label on the key was in shape of that sculpture, right? But how would we express that? If that's even what we're trying to express. A key led. That's what it's supposed to be, because I'm missing the verb. Do we have led? No. Well, forgot, thought. Yes, the words are all over, so you have to keep switching. We have, like, open and revealed. So maybe it's a different sentence. So maybe a key opened the door to the back room rather than... Because I was trying to say, like, it led the detective, but I think it's a different sentence. A key opened the door. To the back room on the sculpture balcony. Yes, this UI is not... Like, considering how many fill-in-the-blanks games exist by this point in time, even... even, like, you know, obviously games take time to develop, so even if we look, like, a few years back. By that point, there's already been multiple games with this sort of fill-in-the-blanks stuff, you know, detective games, and they've already had workable UIs to do this stuff. So I'm not quite sure what happened here. Why did they make this choice? He opened the door to the back room on the sculpture balcony. It was hidden. Do we have hidden? Or like, well, we have revealed. Yeah, I was gonna say hidden, but I don't think I have hidden. Like, well, you have hid, but that's not correct grammar. But yeah, it feels like it's a hidden by the sculpture from the exhibit. That would make a nice sentence. By the sculpture from the exhibit. It was opened by a key from person? Maybe. It's funny when like completely different sentences. Because we have revealed, but then it would have to be a different sentence afterwards, yes. So it would have to be something else here. A sculpture hit the door to the back room on the balcony. Oh, you mean the first thing? Because I was already in here. Maybe. Maybe that feels better. A sculpture hit the door to the back room on the sculpture balcony. If you combine it. Yes. And then it was opened by the key. Yeah, we'll need something else here probably. Like it's not sculpture balcony, exhibit balcony, because we said exhibit balcony plenty of times before. The key. Well, so the key, we were given the key by the artist who said it belonged to the security guard, but it actually wasn't the security guard's. So we think it was from the guide, maybe? But the artist gave it to us originally. Okay, we're closer. It's probably this word that's wrong. So exhibit balcony. Yeah, there we go. We did it. We did it. There was an old something, strange something, and the something accessible from the something on the something. Well, accessible from something on the something, that sounds like what we found on the computer, right? Because that's what I would say, like, the sort of accessible. So accessible from the something on the computer? Because we have the logs, it gave us logs. So like logs were accessible from something on the computer. But what would be on the computer? Because we don't have like a system on the computer or something like that. Strange contract, yeah, that would probably make sense. Because it was like all redacted, and yes, there was an old picture or an old photograph. From the something on the computer. What would be the something on the computer? Like, it was the security system, right? But I don't think we have security system as a word. And we don't have like, oh, it's a floppy disk or something. From the logs. But then, what goes here then? Like if we say it's accessible from the logs on the computer, what does this and the something? Because that would imply that we have to know what's on the disk. Because then after that, it seems something between the something and the something, put the something into something, but nothing was something. That seems like it's probably more about what happened to the like the historian, like why did they left and what's up with the investor, right? Like this would maybe go into what happened there, but we don't know that yet, right? We haven't had a conversation about this, but nothing was something. Like maybe there was an argument or a disagreement between people, and that put something like into a dispute or disagreement, but nothing was something, right? We don't have this information, so we probably need to talk to people more and get more words. And I assume the curator would be someone to talk about the contract with, because obviously if there's a contract to do with the museum, he should know about it, as you know, as much as he tries to dodge our questions. He doesn't have anything new to say, though. He's got nothing new to say. Nor does the security guard, so who could tell us about this? I assume the podcaster doesn't have any dirt on them. No. Artist probably also... No, actually, he has something to say. Okay, what do you have to say? Salutations, detective. Okay, so they may know something about the old photo. I don't even you know much about it, but do you recognize anyone other than the museum staff pictured here? The gentleman there looks like some kind of technician. Does that help, detective? I can't operate solely on assumptions and impressions, but it's the thought that counts. Yes, that is what they say. If you learn more, I would be interested to know. Okay. But potentially the critic and the old-timer may know more. But that he doesn't have a dialogue. Nor does he. Okay, well, I guess that's not a possibility. The guide doesn't have anything more. Nor does the student. Does the tourist know anything? If not, I may have to call the cops, see if they got anything new. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like anyone's got a dialogue now. So what's up with that? Does it count as a contradiction? No, it doesn't. There isn't anything red here. Just looking to add this game to my Steam list, and if I'm not mistaken, there are 8 more games in this series? Okay, that's interesting, because this is the first time I've heard about this, like, me seeing this game. Yeah, it wasn't the guards after all, but they have nothing to say about it and there isn't any contradiction. So what are the titles of some of the other games? Yes, the department took the logs for analysis, but they said it may take some time depending on how complex they are. I just have to wait for results to come in. I have plenty of other leads to follow. Do I though? Do I? Yeah, I have to wait for the picture as well. Oh, the phone number. I have to call the phone number from the contract. Almost forgot, or actually forgot, but the game reminded me. Wrong button. I accidentally called the police. I meant to decode that password on the first page. No, it's just like a illustration, I think. Amongst all that redacted information, anyone could be on the other end. Thank you for calling Fennec Financial, your trusted partner in financial and creative services. Unfortunately, our office is currently closed. If you are a current client, you might dial your extension now and leave a message. Your account manager will return your call as soon as possible. If you are a prospective client, please leave your name, number, and brief message. A member of our team will reach out soon. Thank you, and we look forward to bringing your artistic dreams to life. Record your message after the B. Click. An investment firm, huh? I guess it makes sense for a museum to seek some reliable funding. But why all the secrecy? I doubt the curator will give me anything, and chances are slim that one of the other suspects knows about Fennec Financial. But it's worth trying. Okay, so now we can question them about the financial institution. And we got a contradiction. For his motive, sell off the rare gemstone in an insurance fraud or embezzlement scheme. But the contract, I guess, tells us something different. Embezzlement was an assumption, and probably a pretty extreme one at that. But for the curator to pay off the museum debts with the gemstone. Now, that is certainly plausible. Are there debts? Do we know about the debts? Financial and creative? Creative finances? That's another term for money laundering, isn't it? Yes. It feels... I mean, there is that whole thing about how art trade, right? Modern art kind of dealings are, you know, potential for money laundering, right? Because, you know, you buy a painting for 4 millions, you bought the painting, who cares whether the painting was actually worth 4 millions or were you paying the millions for something else, right? I'm not saying every art deal is like this, but it seems to be a theory that people talk about a lot on the internet. You know, easy way to move money and say it was totally legit. Yes, you just get to say what the price is, right? Like, who's to say it's not worth that much? Okay, so about the files. I have reasons to believe tonight's events might have been influenced by outside forces, and these documents have strengthened my suspicion. Unfortunately, there isn't much left here for me to investigate. Could you tell me more about them? I'm afraid you're wasting your time, and mine, for that matter. Those are very standard for an institution such as this one. Then why go through all the effort of redacting so much of them? It was the investment firm's policy, so I obliged. They kept the museum afloat, so I didn't argue, nor do I believe there was a reason to. I mean, how does having a redacted contract help you, right? How are you gonna prove any terms of the contract if the only copy you have is redacted? Seems extreme for what you're describing, but that isn't my specialty, so I'll take your word for it. But I would like to get your word on something else, if you wouldn't mind. I would expect nothing less, but we don't have anything else. Okay. So he's basically denying any of this is suspicious. He's like, no, this is normal. What are you on about? Apparently the missing gemstone is like related to the screwdriver. So am I still on the case of trying to unscrew more vents? Because is there a vent here that they could have like hidden the gemstone in, right? Nothing new to investigate. There isn't one here. Yeah, let us in the vents already. There is one here, but that's not interactive. I'm just spinning the cam so I can see. It probably would depend on who took it. You know, it would be in the room they're in, right? Or the room they have walked through, at least. Where's the student hiding? Yeah, I just went through the room with the student and that wasn't interactive. Like, the only one we were able to press on so far was the one on the balcony in the natural history, but he didn't unscrew that. It might be that we have to get further into it to unscrew something. You have yet to acquire new attire, yeah. Do you know about this contract? Yeah, the investor. Ah, must be detective, I simply have nothing positive to say. I have reason to believe he may be intertwined with this, so I'm doing my due diligence on the matter. That's all. Intertwined? It wouldn't surprise me if he had an icy grip on it, detective. That's his business. That cursed financial praise on dotrodden artists, failed instruction, and any client they can swindle. Of course, everything starts to look up in the beginning, and you put even more trust in them. The good old days. The good days won't stop. Then it's a miscalculation, an unfortunate circumstance, and before you know it, you're in more debt than you could imagine, and only one way out. Trust the process, a process that's designed to eat you alive forever. I have nothing positive to say on the matter. I'm asking, but I must. Is this a personal matter for you? Art is personal. It's human, woefully flawed, and those corporate suits only understand cold, destructive, and disturbingly calculated. I can't say I understand, but I'd like to think I can empathize. I'm not sure what to say, so why don't we move on to another discussion? Okay, so he's basically like, yes, they are ruthless, right? They say they invest in art and creativity, but they will literally bleed you dry. Right, so he's not a fan. But we got more words for our thing. We've got the debt added. Yeah, son, client. It seems there's something between the something. Would the something... Is this about the debt then and the contract? Like, it seems the contract between the curator and the investor put the museum into debt. But nothing was something. Nothing was... Argued, destroyed, dropped, felt, forgot, thought, hacked, hid, locked, met, opened, retreated, revealed, shot, shoved, stabbed, stole, struck, and tripped. What would be the good word here? Nothing was what? Valuable? Do we have a word for that? Because I didn't see it. Nothing was forgot. They didn't forgive them, they're dead. Conversely, the something will be something by the someone to learn more. Like the logs will be revealed, hacked by the police to learn more. By the officer. That's actually correct. The logs will be hacked by the officer to learn more. So yes, what is this word? Like, even if... Yes, like, what is even the sentence? Like, even if we remove the fact that we have to have a word for it, if this was the sentence, what would fit here, right? It seems the contract between the curator and the investor put the museum into debt. That makes sense to me. That seems to align with what we were talking about. But nothing was what? Nothing was paid back. Nothing was settled. We didn't try revealed. No, we can try, but oh, apparently revealed. I guess we're kind of we're sort of weaving two things now, right? Where some of the pages we're talking purely about what happened before, right? Like what happened in the case. Like they were fighting, people were doing this, debt, investors, whatever. But some of the sentences are about what's happening now, right? We're basically describing what we're doing. It was opened by the key from the artist. Nothing was revealed, as in nothing was revealed to us, the detective, from this contract. What's the name of this game? It's called Feline Forensics and the Meowseum Mystery. And then we just need a word here. There was an old photograph, a strange contract, and there's something accessible from the logs on the computer. Which, I'm not sure this is... the last thing here is correct. Right. Because, like, what I would want to put here would be, and the logs accessible from the files on the computer. But we do not have files as a word. But that would be what I would want to put there. Right, I would put logs here and then have files in that other gap. Accessible from the computer on the computer. Oh, you think it's like computer on the desk? Is it that silly? But we don't have a desk. No, we don't have a desk. On the back room now, it would be in the back room in that case. Right, on is like physically on something, so a desk as a table. Yeah, we don't have a desk. Is it a location? Maybe, because they've had some weird things. Yeah, a desk is a location. There we go. Approved. Good thinking. Good thinking. Desk is a location. I knew I was onto something. Only the best cases have secret rooms and mysterious figures. This one even had redacted documents. It doesn't get better than that. Let's keep digging. If we're exceptionally lucky, we'll uncover something paranormal too. Oh, there's gonna be ghosts. Come to think of it, I should check with the officer again about that film. It might be developed by now. Okay. Pictures are ready. So let's quickly go to the front and see what he got. Why is this location? I have no idea. Because I would never say that. Like, desk is a piece of furniture, it's an object. Yes, just choices made by the developer. Who should I call? The police department. Let's see if there's anything else they can help with tonight. Yeah. About the film. I'm just taking back up on that film I had you pick up. How's that going? Oh yeah, good news. I just got word from the lab that it's done. I'll be right over to show you. Can't you just describe... And he's here. Good evening again, detective. You know, you could have just told me the important details over the phone. You don't have to drive out here again. Ah, but a picture's worth 1,000 words. Haven't you ever heard that, detective? As for this one, the angle's a bit skewed and it looks like it was taken in motion, so it's a bit blurry. But if you look right here, that's a tail. A thin, white tail. The student in the sculpture gallery. According to his testimony, he would have been in the foyer when this photo was taken. That was a lie. Yes, I knew the student was suspicious. I couldn't have asked for a better breakthrough, officer. This really was a huge help. I need to get back in there. Post haste. Go for it, detective. And if you need anything else, don't hesitate to call again. Yes, everything is coming together now. You hot, Firefly? She's just relocated to the floor again. Yes, Yes, everything's coming together. It just means using 1,000 words correctly is worth a picture. Okay, so we've got lies about the podcaster dropping the camera. Why? Because the photograph disputes it? That makes sense. Okay, so the timing of it maybe isn't correct. Of course, she wouldn't have told me about the photo, considering how badly she wanted to hold onto the film. Oh, well, that's end well, though. This film was just the thing I need to crack the case wide open. Okay, so it's just about the fact that I took a photo wasn't included in this testimony. And yeah, we of course have a new page that we have to fill in. Page 4. The something was going to be something by the something when he something the something. The something something the something of the something into the something, so the something could be something. However, according to the something or the someone, his something was something, causing the something to be something. The something something the something in the something something something, where a something was also something. According to the something, that something was something. The something was something, and something from the something was also a something. I see. But I think we're getting into, yes, who took the gem, what did they do with it, and us finding it, maybe? Maybe. Potentially. Well, we have to question the student about their lies. Something in the evidence was updated. Oh yeah, just that the picture, yes, has the student in it. I'm innocent, I swear. Every time you say that, I get a little less confident you're telling the truth. Let's get questioned. Yes, now we know you're not innocent. You're a lying liar. About this photo. Would you mind taking a look at it and telling me what do you see? Well, I don't really see much, detective. It's pretty blurry. What about right here? Does this thin white tail look familiar to you? Are you trying to say that's my tail? I guess it does look pretty similar, but what of it? By all my calculations, this would put you in a pretty interesting place, to a pretty interesting time. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure, you can see my tail, but there's no way to tell what's going on out of frame. As much as you'd like to deny it, the implication is too strong. I'm giving you a chance to confess fear before it's too late. I have nothing to confess. I'm innocent. It's until proven guilty, isn't it? You're right, so I'll just have to prove it. Until then, I have other questions. We just let go of it? Just like that? Like, we're not like, listen here, you little punk. You were not where you said you were, and now you're refusing to cooperate. Ah, now a vent. We can investigate. That accidental photograph proves I should investigate every potential hiding place, and this one is a prime suspect. And with this screwdriver, I should be able to... Aha! I found it! The Optimus diamond, and in an air duct. Be careful now. This gemstone is worth more than all 9 of my lives. Immediately into evidence with you. What's this? There's something else in here. A rolled canvas? Wait a second, even I recognize this. But isn't it supposed to be hanging in the fine art gallery? Oh no! I've got the sinking feeling the case isn't as close as I thought. I should show this to an expert I can trust. Okay, so what we got here? Student is lying. Because we have the photographic evidence that he wasn't just where he said he was. Okay, I don't think that's right. Oh, wait. Is this about... Now in this culture exhibit, the student attempted to hide as he heard the terrible sound of shattered glass. No, but the diamond proves he's there to hide what he stole or something, someone given it. Yes, that makes sense. Of course, he was trying to hide the diamond he had stolen. He stashed it in the air duct, but he couldn't have come up with his backup plan on the fly, right? Yeah, what you got to say now, Mr. Student? Oh no, a dead body. Oh, the rolled up canvas. So, about the diamond. Detective, I saw you open the air duct over there. I know you already found the diamond, so you don't have to be so dramatic. Once you had that photo, I knew my time was up, so cuff me or whatever you have to do. Luckily for you, this case isn't closed yet. I have a few threads that still need pulled, so I have a bit longer until I draw conclusions. Huh, whatever you say, detective, but I don't see how else this could really go. Before I go, I have to ask, how did you do it? It was easier than you'd think. Well, not too easy considering we couldn't pull it off, but still. The punk opened the display, and I took the diamond. Then he went upstairs to create a distraction for me. After that, I just had to wait for the foyer to be empty and make my way out. But I heard a gun should go off, and we agreed it was only a last resort. I know he wouldn't have killed anyone, but it made me hesitate. When I decided to leave him behind, the doors were already locked. The security system was supposed to recognize him, but I guess that didn't work. Oh, why was the system supposed to recognize him? We're not going to arrest him if he runs away. Exactly. Like, the doors are open. What's holding them here? So I moved to the backup plan. We tried to wait it out. I see. I have plenty more questions about this entire situation, so there's no sense in stopping now, shall we? Why did you do it? What kind of question is that, detective? I have a really good reason. It's not like I'll suddenly be okay. No, probably not, but it can help me build a better picture of what happened, and sometimes that can help. So please, be honest with me. Well, it's worth a lot of money, you know. Split 2 ways, even 3, 4, 5 ways. That's still a ton. Are you telling me there are 5 people involved in this, then? If you're saying split it 5 ways. This is going to sound so cliche with that kind of money. The punk could have finally paid for his surgery. Oh no, is this like, we don't have healthcare? We must do crime. Surgery? For what sort of condition? Something with his heart. I don't know much about the really intimate details. They don't bleed right. They have a weak pulse. Some muscle deficiency. Look, I'm not a doctor, and frankly, I don't hold up well to anything medical. It's just bad, okay? That was the only way we could have fixed it, I think. Sounds a lot more redeemable than say, buying a tropical island somewhere. Don't you think? Huh, whatever. It doesn't matter now. Perhaps it doesn't. Would you mind if I ask a few more questions then? Okay, detective. If you say so. So we have personal questions about the punk. You said you were friends. Would you mind telling me a bit more? I don't know what there is to say, and if you're just fishing for more evidence, well, I don't have anything to say either. No, I was hoping you could just tell me more about him. Would that be okay? Like what? He was a punk through and through. All my other friends from university said he was just a bad influence. Maybe they were right. He apparently got me tied up in all of this, didn't he? No, that's not fair. Besides, I've known him for far longer than anyone, so what do they really know? How long did you know each other? How did you meet? We were just kids, meeting like 2 kids do. I don't even remember what it was exactly. Probably trading cards or a video game. Kid stuff. Stuff that bullies would have make fun of for at least until they got a swift right hook to the nose, huh? He had your back. I can understand that. And I had his, or I was supposed to, at least enough to hold him back. Detective, I know this will sound strange, but just don't want to hold onto this right now. It's hard to look at. Could you take it? What is... Actually, that doesn't matter right now. Of course I can hold on to it. You shouldn't blame yourself for what happened. I know it's not that easy, but I hope you can trust me on that. Now, there's a few more things we can go over, if you're up to it. Okay. And that's why the punk fell off the balcony is a heart problem. Possible, right? Because as far as we know, the fight has already resolved itself. They stopped fighting, and he had time to drop the gun into the fountain. And then he just suddenly goes off the edge. So was it because of his heart trouble? Because, you know, for-profit healthcare systems just be like that? You know, probably wouldn't do him well if he had heart problems. About this painting, because yeah, we found a painting in there as well. Or like some sort of canvas. Happened to find it outside the gemstone. Did you have anything to do with it? You have to trust me, detective. This time I am telling you the truth when I say I have no idea why that is there. Okay, interesting. So you're telling me two people separately chose this particular vent to hide something? So you noticed it was there earlier this evening? I did, but there wasn't enough time to think about it. Has it stumped you as much as it stumped me? Unfortunately, yes, for now. After I make more inquiries with you, I'm going to get back to investigating it. Okay, detective, if you say so. Okay, but there is more about your plan. How did you know to hide the diamond in the sculpture gallery? We decided on it beforehand. I know it might seem like we were just a pair of amateurs, especially since everything fell apart, but we gave it some thought. Ah, look at me. What am I even saying? Trying to justify that I'm good at being a criminal? The truth is, we were hired to do it, but only the punk ever communicated with them. Okay, so it wasn't just originally their idea. They're just desperate kids that were pulled into someone else's plan. And they were prepared to deal with pretty much every contingency. They knew it all, except for the security system, I guess. Well, they told us about it, but the punk figured out how it actually worked, so we could get around it. I hacked his ID into the system remotely. It seemed really easy to accomplish in the moment, but in retrospect, that's why we had a backup plan. And that was, if for some reason I couldn't get to the front doors, or they were locked, which they were, I was supposed to go into the sculpture gallery and put it into the air duct. Whoever hired us was willing to have someone come through and pick it up later, and that's all we were told. So presumably they would have had other means of entry. Perhaps they just needed someone to get it out of the display. Strange. I mean, whatever you think, detective. Like I said, we had pretty explicit instructions, and it seemed like whoever they were, they had a lot of contingencies. Not some amateur fees is right. I've got a few other topics to address before we move on. Okay, but I don't think we actually do. We actually have done everything. I'm thinking the punk started working with the curator. Curator took a painting. Punk took the diamond. Curator gave punk security access. I mean, he said he hacked it in, though, so... they've done it, but... You know, how did they know about the security? How did they know how to hack it? So, there's definitely more. Like, it does definitely sound like at least some amount of inside job might be going on in here. Okay, so we've got things updated here, but it's all good. We've got this, the diamond, it doesn't need inspected, and we got the dog canvas. Famous canvas painting found stashed in the air duct. But yeah, we need to ask an expert. You typed that before that, okay, that's fine. So maybe she can tell us about the canvas. Yes, about this artwork. I've discovered it under strange circumstances, so would you mind looking over it for me? Oh, I hope those strange circumstances weren't taking it off the wall and out of its frame. No, not as simple as that. The exhibit is still hanging right where you last saw it. That's because... Huh? The original is still hanging there because this one's a counterfeit. The inconsistencies are subtle, especially in the style. Why would something like this be here, detective? You know, don't you? I have my suspicions, but nothing definite yet, I'm afraid. I don't like this one bit. If you find out more, you'll tell me right. Only what I'm at liberty to disclose, but I'll continue to rely on your expertise as needed. Well, if I were you, I'll look over any other artwork you've came across tonight. Who knows what else could have been missed? A good idea, but until then, I might have a couple more things for us to go over. Except I don't. Unroll that bug, yes. But no, it's the painting of the dogs. I remember because we were talking about the other painting of the dog that Digimop used to have. So yeah, it's here, right? It's this painting here. Wow, it wasn't what I expected because I was expecting like the one that's hidden would be the original and the one that displays the counterfeit, but they said it's the opposite, right? The counterfeit was in the vent. Why that? Were they planning to swap it out later? Okay, they've got nothing to say. I want to go over to that other vent, right? Because there was another interactable vent on this balcony. So I'm wondering whether we can open it now. Yes, maybe it hasn't been replaced yet. Okay, this one won't open. Does the curator have anything to say about this? Does he know why there are counterfeit paintings in his vents? Yes, there is a conversation. During the events, about the diamond. What about it, detective? Have you finally figured out what happened? To an extent, I have. You'll be pleased to know that I've recovered the jewel. Oh my, wonderful! It can be returned to its podium, and we can all call it a night. Unfortunately, more questions have been raised in the process. I'm going to need to keep it for a bit and continue my investigation. This better not be some bureaucratic tomfoolery you're pulling. Although I suppose the display case was broken, so the diamond might be more safe in your care. For now. I appreciate your understanding. I don't want to act too harshly and allow something like this to occur again. That is a concern I haven't considered. Fine, but don't push your luck. You've already been sniffing outside my authority, and I've excused it thus far. A firefly drive-by, just hitting the microphone. I've said before, I do what must be done, in the name of true justice, however long it takes. Although the officer probably has some crucial evidence ready that could speed this investigation up for you, curator. Before I go check on that, discuss more matters. We have no more matters. Okay, so that seemed to indicate the logs might be ready from the detective. Or not detective, the officer. Firefly, please stop. You know, messing up the microphone if you could. That other cat detectives are good. The diamond to make a red laser to distract all the cats, yes. About the alarm. Anyone at the station be able to crack into those logs yet? You're in luck. They just cracked it, and let me tell you, there's a lot here. Bad news is, there's far too much for me to relay over the phone. Oh, officer, you really don't have to come over here to the museum again, it's fine. Wasn't planning on it, honk. The lab told me I could, under no circumstances, print out all of these logs and take them to you. Something about being 8 months of the station's paper badges, but it's searchable at least. Do you have anything you think I could cross-reference with the logs that would give us a good place to start? I don't think so. What should I be looking for? From the looks of it, there's timestamps, exhibits, and registered aliases, among other things. It's pretty difficult to parse. Searching for a registered username would probably be the easiest, so I guess I'll call back when I have something like that. I'll be here, detective. I decided to pick up an overnight shift so I could keep helping out. Okay, where am I going to find a username in all this museum mess now? Yeah, so we have to figure out what people's usernames are and things like that to let us use those logs in the first place. Huh. What is this page about then? Yes, the punk was added, so we could ask the student maybe what did he hack in? Like, what name did you add to the system to give him access? Anything new? No, he doesn't have a new thing. I like how he still says, I'm innocent, I swear. But, we already know he isn't. Okay, nothing new from you. Something new from the artist. Maybe about the forgery. No, old photo again. I hate to be persistent on the matter, but are you positive you don't know anyone pictured here? I've given that some thought, and I feel guilty. Would you allow me to be honest with you? I don't know why I couldn't bring myself to say so, but the technician I pointed out there, he was my father. He was? Oh, I see. I'm sorry for your loss. I respect your kind words, but they are not required. He's not dead. The guard lied again. Some of my very early memories are within this museum, in a time before the curator took over. He loved this place, even with how infrequently he acknowledged it. I knew what he meant when he said there was no reason to ever retire. I spoke to the guard about him, and he said as much. It sounds like he was well respected. Yes, I believe he was, but after many years, retirement was chosen for him. He didn't live long after that. Okay, he is actually dead. He would always say, if I sit down now, I'm not gonna be able to stand back up. But I never took that literally. My dearest apologies. I didn't mean to open old wounds. I know it can be hard. I hope you wouldn't mind if I move on to another topic before I go. Okay, but we don't have another topic. Okay, so the frog is son of the old mechanic at the museum. He's not dead, he just went to get some milk. Yeah, milk and cigarettes. Okay, what can we ask you? About the film still. Sent it to the station and had it developed. Most of the photos weren't relevant, but this one. Do you notice anything interesting about it? I hate to say this, detective, because I don't want to burst your bubble or anything, but it's real blurry. That's because it was taken in motion, falling from someone's frightened paws. Oh, I see what you did there. Is this your way of telling me I was holding back important evidence? You super can't blame me though, right? Like, I could have gone so viral with that film. Actually, what are the chances I can get a copy? You'd do that for me, wouldn't ya? I've already turned the film over to the police, so no, I don't think I'll be doing that. So lame. Apologies. Let's move on now. Like, whatever you need, detective. Okay, that's... We just came to be like, you hid this from us. Okay, we can investigate the placard again. Optimus Diamond, circa 1700. You really gave me a runaround, didn't you? Precious little stone. Regardless, I'm glad you're safe. Okay. We just can talk to the gem for some reason. The debris. You know, there's plenty more pieces of the statue laying about. Perhaps I should take the time to look over at least one more. Welcome, Orlas, to the subscribers. Welcome, welcome. This is definitely just wishful thinking on my part, but it couldn't hurt. Someone who talks to things all the time, I can't judge. Okay, so did we pick up more pieces? Okay, we get another inspection of the statue, so we do another turning. There's a little kitty pig at the bottom. Is it a forgery? Is it a fake statue? I had to rotate it like this. Oh, of course. I knew there was something else here. A second examination was necessary. I knew it, although a bit later than maybe I should have. But there's no use dwelling on that now. This is an indication of forgery, a strange one, but I bet the guide will know more. Okay, so it is forged. So there are multiple things that are forgeries in this museum. Although this one was actually on display. And I guess the critic did say that. He did say to us at the very start that there were forgeries in the museum. I mean, we know that the museum is in some sort of debt with this financial place, right? Like, they've messed them around, so I assume they might not be able to afford their pieces. I could totally see them doing things like they get a forgery of the real piece, then they sell the real piece, right? But they still keep the forgery in the museum so they can keep displaying it. Because then they have, like, they can keep saying it's real because as far as everyone is concerned, it was never sold from this museum, right? So it must be here. But secretly they gave it to, like, private buyers. Now, I have my suspicions with this one, but I'd like you to confirm, just in case. Are these pieces of the miniature Moai statue? Wait, you had the right to be suspicious, detective. Just look at the sculptor's stamp. It must also be a fake. Well, what's left of it anyway? That makes 2 counterfeit art pieces here in the museum. And this one was on display. You really think it could have been replaced by someone? You must have some idea. At this point, I think it's clear. There was something else going on behind the scenes, but I'm not sure what. For now, I have a couple of other things we could go over instead. No, I don't. He always says that. Like, why doesn't this game recognize whether I have more dialogue or not? Hello, curator. I was like, do you have more to say about this? But he does not. He does not have more things to say. Yeah, we keep getting new words, but what is it? Someone was going to be something by something. To something when he's something to something. Is this like the student hiding the diamond? I was able to reveal this hidden text, the redacted contract, and everything that fell into place. Yeah, if only. Like, it really wants me to fill this in, but I'm like, I'm not quite sure what those sentences are right now. Yes, counterfeit, ID. It looks like for some categories we're basically getting to the full extent of the list. Like here, there's only one more object place. Because yeah, we may be out of conversations now, maybe. So now it's like, no, you have to fill something in or you won't be progressing anymore. Yeah, because they've got nothing to say, okay. What does our board say? After too many conflicting details surrounding the camera incident, we got the film. Yeah, the officer dropped and developed photograph. With one thread tied, another thread unravels. These mysteries never get easier, do they? Are we going to finish the 4th chapter today? I mean, my hope for today was we were going to finish the game today, but honestly, it feels like, yes, I'm going a bit too slow. I'm going a bit too slow for that. So we would have to take it into another day, but then I was already saying, like, there probably won't be a stream tomorrow because it's gonna be too hot for that. Like, I'm not actually sure because we got the weather warning starting from tomorrow, but it's still saying on my phone that it's only gonna be 27 and then it goes over the 30s from like Tuesday. So I don't know, maybe if it's not too disgusting. I can finish this tomorrow instead. I mean, to be honest, it's already kind of hot today. If I'm looking a bit sweaty, I apologize, because I can feel my forehead being a bit damp. It's been 36 degrees for over 4 days now here. Ew. Yes, I mean, we have that coming our way this week. So it's supposed to start like from tomorrow, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, I mean, I will see basically, because obviously weather is always like, they say some things on the warnings, but then it doesn't always turn up like this. So I will basically have to see how the heat is during the day, and then, you know, if it's still manageable, it should be fine. But we'll see how bad it gets basically. Because I mean, you know, if it's too hot, there's nothing I can do about it. We will just have to wait until the weekend again. This game will be like really spread out in time. But yes, I mean, considering this room gets hot and with PC on go, it gets hotter, like, if it's not manageable, you know, as much as I like you all, I'm not going to cook myself to death just to stream. Yes, I am at the top of my house, basically, other than like sitting in the attic. So it is where it's hot. So what's up with this? Yeah, we met all the suspects, the financial fiasco, forgery. If I can search the logs for a username, I have a lead, but where would I find something like that? Yes. You had thunder that made the lights flicker and such. Wow. That's quite the weather. Any sentence I can make here. Because I'm not sure about this first one, but maybe something later. However, according to the something, his something was something causing the... Is this about like the student, right? This is about the plan going wrong. Like, according to the student, something, his plan wasn't working, alarm was tripped. Yeah, if I cook myself, no more streams. That's for sure. You will just have to roll me up and put it in a poster tube. This one might be the student hid the diamond in the air vent. The student hid the gemstone in the air vent, which might be a location, yeah, air duct, or like it's gonna be the sculpture exhibit air duct. I guess let's be specific. How is a sculpture a location? Seriously. Where like forgery painting, where a painting was also hidden. Stashed? Okay, that works. According to the guide, that painting was a forgery? Not the phone, the painting. Or a counterfeit. Okay, but it's linked with this. The something that was something and from the something. Oh, that's the statue? The statue that was like dropped and broken and destroyed from the balcony was also counterfeit. Almost, not quite. So one or two things are wrong. It might be like not dropped here. Because it wasn't just dropped, like it was like pushed or something. Was the statue shot at all? Yes, it was. So maybe shot. No. Oh yeah, it might have been a sculpture instead, rather than a statue. The sculpture, that was... But then, is it not shot? Shot and fell, maybe. No. Is it a sculpture or a statue? Statue pieces. It says it's a statue here. So, I guess it's a statue. Like, hopefully the game is consistent about it. Okay, there we go. Yes. So that's the second page. The second page is solved. The game tells how many words yellow. Yes, it's 2 or less. Okay, we don't have that page anymore. It's 1 or 2 errors is yellow, and then 3 and more is red. So fairly standard with those games. Okay, so I think we need to read into more of the student's story, right? Because this is just gonna be the whole heist. Not this. So yeah. He entered the museum. Overheard an argument beginning upstairs. The student used the distraction to escape with the diamond. When the guard and the curator had left the foyer, he began to leave with his quarry in hand. It was then that he heard the gunshot, causing him to hesitate. The gun was only to be used as last resort. It was then that the alarm was triggered, locking the door just moments before he could escape. Cornered and fearful that he might be caught with the diamond, the student retreated into the sculpture exhibit to execute his backup plan. The student hid the diamond within the air duct, but moments later heard the glass case break and the alarm was triggered. So, we have to somehow express that story here, I think. I think that's what it's about, right? How did they steal the diamond? So we know that they hacked the punk's ID into the system, and he was able to just get the diamond without triggering the alarm. But then the problem was that when he fell during the fight, they triggered the alarm anyway. So here it would be like causing the alarm to be triggered. Yes, I mean, another thing about playing those sort of games, right? It's like you have to, you know, be clear on all of the words sometimes. So yes, playing this sort of games or even following this sort of games, if you're not English speaker, or sometimes even if you're an English speaker, from what I've seen, it can be hard, right? It can be like, what do you mean those two words mean the same thing or don't mean the same thing, right? Like sometimes you're just like, I'm confused because English. So it happens to me as well. That's not where I wanted to put this word. Causing the alarm to be tripped or triggered or whatever. To the alarm logs. Well, we haven't seen the alarm logs, right? We can't say anything from them until we have a name or like a username to look up. So I think this is all just from the conversations we had. Or maybe this isn't this. Maybe this is like, this is causing the doors to be locked instead. Yeah, we don't have, I don't think we have security. Yeah, I mean, it is the game, right? Just piecing together bits. Because doors to be locked would then fit with the next paragraph, right? Because the fact that the student couldn't make it out of the museum meant that he had to hide the gemstone. So according to the student, like, do we have something for like his escape was something blocked? Not really a word that we have. This is plant, not plan, even. Yeah, maybe it's under locations. Yes, everything is a location in here. Like, even here, according to the student, what? His something was... Something causing the door to be locked. Here, or maybe here. Maybe this says the student hacked like the security system so that they could do the stealing. The student hacked the ID of the punk. Into the security or something, so the gemstone could be stolen. Into the computer, like we don't even have security system. So the gemstone could be... Oh, we only have stole though. Huh, missing a good verb here. Because yeah, student hacked the idea of the punk into the computer. Maybe so the case could be opened. So, glass case, is this an object or is it a location? There it is, it's an object. And then opened. Okay. We're doing it. We're doing it. However, okay, so according to the student... What? Like, why is this 2 words? So the student or the punk was going to be something by the something when he stole the gemstone? Not this. Yeah, sell of the precious gemstone to pay for the punk's medical expenses, so medical treatment. He began to leave with a score in hand. When he overheard the argument between upstairs, the student used the distraction to escape with the diamond. Yeah, the fact that this is 2 words, right? It makes it hard to put a person here, right? Because it would have to be like adjective person or something like that. So maybe this is like logs or something, but we don't know anything about the logs. We're not able to get into them, I presume, until we solve this bit. So that would be weird to ask for that now. Because literally the game is pointing us at... Okay, you can't see this because it's behind me. But basically, the button to fill in the log is the thing that's now highlighted red. So the game is telling me like, this is the only thing you can do now. Just fill this in. Someone, so this is a person, like this is a person, was going to be something by the, were they going to be paid or something? Do we have like paid or rewarded? Then we get told the punk wasn't whitelisted after all, dude. But we do know that. Did he say that? I thought he did do the hacking. And it was just the fact that they broke the case that triggered the alarm. Someone's son, Yeah, because we know that the artist is the mechanic's son. About the diamond. Yeah, because the distraction stole the diamond, waited for the cost to be clear, and it wasn't. There's not much more to it than that. As much as you might think there's some other big conspiracy here to unravel, I don't know anything about it, so throw the cuffs on me and march me into court. I'm sure we heard that, which is why the door didn't open. I mean, at least as far as I remember, like, the door isn't normally locked, right? It was the fact that the alarm system got triggered is what locked the door. Like, the front door isn't normally locked. Yeah, I told you as much as I know. We were hired to steal the museum's gemstone, but in order to do so, I had to get the punk's credentials into the alarm system. Of course, considering I'm still here and you've got the diamond, that didn't work out too well. Maybe the client had some contingency for this, but I doubt it. Okay, so he says it didn't work out too well, so that may imply that the hack didn't work. I just read it more like, even though they did the hack, it still didn't work. Your best bet would be to figure out who this client was and ask them, you know? You don't say. If only I could. For now, I've got a few other topics to address. Okay. I see where you get that, right? I see where you think that the hack didn't work. I just read it more like, even though they did all the hacking, because he fell and broke the case, it still didn't work. But honestly, I'm still not sure what those sentences are supposed to be about. So this is the person. I think this is going to be a person here. Could be student, could be punk, was going to be something. But we don't have like paid or anything like that, like rewarded or anything like that. Oh no, we have paid. We have paid. I'm wrong. So someone is going to pay by the client when he delivered when he stole the gemstone. The punk, I assume, because he needed the money. Ah, no, not here. Yeah, that's almost correct, but that's because I've replaced a word I didn't mean to. Okay, yes. The punk was going to be paid by the client when he stole the gemstone. We're getting there. One more. However, according to the something, his something. Because this, you know, if we were going in the order of the events and what was described to us, I would expect this paragraph to be about the fact that the student couldn't leave, right? Because it goes between the punk being able to open the case to steal the gemstone and the student hiding the gemstone in the sculpture exhibit, right? So it makes sense that this sentence would be about, like, they grabbed it, but he couldn't get it out. But what is the sentence? And why is this 2 gaps? To the student what? Because I want to put student something in there, but then what does it mean? It's something like his escape was blocked. But we don't have that. We don't have like escape or anything like that. We don't have exit. So what could this be? Because even this last section, right? This could be multiple things. This could be doors to be locked, alarm to be triggered, the case to be broken. Like, so many things fit in those two final gaps here. But then I'm not sure what goes in here, right? Like, his something was something. Like, I just don't have the words that I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. Like, we don't have plan. Opened, he tripped, everything fits. You still think it's the alarm logs. Okay. I mean, it would fit. I'm just like, but we haven't been able to even take a look at them, right? We haven't been able to be told anything about the logs. You think it's about the heart disease? Huh. Oh, but do we have that? Computer logs, I mean, that's a thing as well. But then what would be next, right? According to the computer logs, his ID was compromised, counterfeit, causing the doors to be locked. Maybe, I mean, that does make a whole sentence. It just feels like we didn't actually receive this information. Yeah, his ID was hacked, counterfeit, something. Causing the alarm to be triggered, doors to be locked. Yes, it's like, kinda, but also kinda weird to be locked. No, but apparently only two things, so it could be alarm being tripped instead. Nope. Okay, so replacing the alarm to be alarm trip, it still left it on yellow, right? Like, if I just put other random word here, interesting. Oh, does it accept multiple options? So both alarm tripped and door opened or door locked work here because they accept like alternative solutions. Maybe we haven't really tested that, but yes. So that means this is fine and door locked was fine, but this is wrong. So maybe the ID was hacked instead. Okay, so that doesn't change anything either. Yes, I'm not sure about the computer logs because again, we haven't been able to get into them. Right? We haven't seen them. Can I use a word twice? Yes, I can. Like, I could put the same word in the same sentence. Try alarm logs. Yeah, that just makes it still yellow. See, his ID was what? Is it something like... Because, you know, it's not going to red when I'm changing those words. So I'm just replacing them with words that work. So is the ID wrong? Is the hacked wrong? I'm like looking at other words and thinking what we could put. Replaced? Okay. His ID. I knew it was onto something. Though we were nearing a closed case, but this is a real mess. It's like I'm being led on some obscure scavenger hunt. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. Like, it kicked in, but where did we find this out? Where did we find out that it was replaced? Could it all be a massive conspiracy? No catnaps until we can say for sure. Yes, hacked is bad, replaced is good. Like, it was replaced with what? What are we going on about here? I'm like, what time is it? What's the next page like? To have, there's something, to the something something. The someone planned to have something with something, and then something something. There were in order the something from the something, and the something, and the something with the something. It was the something of the something who was something. The something, they had something before. In turn, the something became the something of the something, so the something would be something when the something. This was ultimately caused the something plan to be something by the something. Okay, yes, so we have 5 and presumably 6 still to go. And yes, it's getting quite late, and considering, yes, how long it's been taking to muddle through those things, I think, yes, we may not be able to get through both of them all at once today. So I'm gonna probably wrap it up here, and then, as I said, I will see about tomorrow. So, you know, keep an eye out on the channel. If I decide it's reasonable enough to stream, as always, I will put up the scheduled thing a bit earlier on, or I will just post that, you know, no stream cause too hot. And yes, I will have a think about it. See if anything comes to my mind. I mean, now that we've solved it, presumably there is more people we can talk to again, right? There's gonna be some conversations we can reveal for further access. So it's not just filling in the things, right? It's still more conversations. We have to find the logins or IDs or whatever that we're supposed to use to search the logs. So there is more. So I am basically hoping to not melt tomorrow, and see what happens. Yes. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for this stream. If I don't see you tomorrow, for whatever reason, I'm not here, you're not here, you know, other things other than this stream you can look forward to on the channel is there's gonna be 2 videos this week from Letter Lost, because I got really into that game, and when I picked it up, I did not imagine how much weird stuff there's going to be to find in there. So, you know, if you enjoyed how weird that game was when we started it, it gets so much weirder. And there are so many more secrets to find, and there are so many more things to do. So yes, I got 2 videos out for it this week, and then I'm gonna try, because I still haven't recorded it, but the plan is to record the final thing from the Red Pearls of Borneo, because we still have Cynthia's story to go, like what happened to there, and that's gonna be the other video for the week. But yes, hopefully I don't melt tomorrow. That's the general hope, or in the rest of the week, and hopefully you don't melt as well. Yes. So hopefully you all have a good night, or the rest of your day, whatever the time it is for you. As always, thank you for joining me here. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for, working with me through this, because yes, this game got some words, and the words are hard. So we're making it through. And yes, thank you anyone who liked the stream. It always helps the channel. And thank you to all the channel members for support as well. That game still didn't end. Which one? Borneo? No, it still didn't end. There is like 3 separate endings with 3 completely separate games. Okay, but I think that's that part with Cynthia is the last one, as far as I've been told. So I'm hoping to just pack it all into one and, have it wrapped up then. Okay? Yes, so hopefully I will see you at some point soon. And bye-bye! Firefly says bye-bye. No, she's too busy sleeping. Night-night, everyone.